Praise the Lord, everyone. Let's stand. This time we're going to mingle a little bit, go around, greet somebody. And having just seen that presentation, and we're here tonight to get some exposure to the Jamaica Logistic Hubs. We're going to be talking with each other just for a minute or two. Find out from the person what's their name, what they do, and also if they understand logistics. Try and talk to at least 5 persons. Let them tell you what logistics is. Amen? We have 3 minutes to do that quickly. Walk around, man. Don't stay one place. Talk to somebody. Spend 2 minutes and do that. If they can't tell you, say to them at the end of this evening, you should be able to tell me what exactly you understand logistics to mean. And what do you think the Jamaica Logistics Hubs will do for you? Job opportunities, amen? Business opportunities. Some of you inside here this evening are going to be entrepreneurs. You're going to be moving goods, services, data, and people all over the globe. Also, we want you to come a little closer. Don't stay so far, man. Come closer. Let's come closer to the front. Get a ringside seat. The other night we were watching the Pentab Contenders. We couldn't get a ringside seat if we never had a ticket. Tonight, you don't need a ticket. Just come closer. Amen? Can we come a little closer, folks? There are seats up the front here. If you like math like I do, then you can think of the closer you come, the opportunities will be raised by the 10th power. Amen? And we have the best team here this evening that will tell you about the Logistics Hub. So just be prepared. Amen? Amen, everybody? Let me see just one person just put your hand up and said, I now understand what logistics is. Believe me, you don't yet. Wait until the presentation is finished.
Praise the Lord, everybody. We're going to ask you all, please come closer, give us a better shot. We are live streaming the event, and many things are happening. There are huge opportunities among us. We want to welcome you tonight to this very pivotal moment, not only in the history of the church, but also in the history of Jamaica. As we embark on a shift, a paradigm shift, to tap into the many opportunities. It is often said that with every crisis, there are huge potential, huge opportunity. Never ever waste a crisis. Always seek to tap into it. So tonight we have our distinguished guest presenter, who happens to be a friend, Dr. Fritz Pinnock. I had the privilege many years ago to work, and we have been working since that time with Dr. Pinnock, who is the executive director of the Caribbean Maritime Institute. You know where that is? Does anybody know about that? Caribbean Maritime Institute? All right. Many times we spoke about a vision and we said how we're going to move this business and to let persons know. And I'm not going to take away from him, but he's going to share some things with you, because you'll be surprised to know the many opportunities and the earning potential in the business. But Dr. Pinnock, he holds a BSc in Economics and Accounting, Management Studies from the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. He's a master in international shipping and logistics from the University of Plymouth, United Kingdom, and a Doctor of Philosophy in Sustainable Development, also from the UWI. He's a fellow Chartered Institute of Logistics Transport. What I can tell you, he is an academic, a visionary, and sometimes I wonder where he gets the energy from. He just seems like he never sleeps. He's the Jamaica Association for Administrative Professionals All-Island Boss for the year 2013 to 2014. He also found time to author 3 books. Maritime Terminal Operations and Management. It was published in Canada, and it's been used at the Caribbean Maritime Institute. He also did a book, Caribbean Cruise Tourism, Power Relations among stakeholders in 2012, and we had spent many time debating about cruise tourism, the benefits to the region. We had many conversations on those topics in another life. Transportation Corridor is the 3rd book he wrote. In addition, he has published numerous academic reviews and industry articles, magazines, and journals worldwide. He is an international maritime and logistic consultant. He's an international speaker who has spoken at many conferences, and it's our privilege to have him here tonight. He sits on many boards. He's on the board of the Heart Trust NTA, on the apprenticeship board. He's a counselor. And yes, he's a man of God. He prays a lot. He's a deacon too. And I ask him how he find time to go to church with all the traveling that he does around the world. But he's married to Loy, beautiful wife, and he has 2 beautiful daughters. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Dr. Fritz Pinnock tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother Clive, Sheridan. Brothers and sisters, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. It's good to be in church. All right, thank you. Now, you'll get an application form. I'm going to ask you to fill it out because this course carries a certificate. Right? You're going to get a certificate. Let me see the hands of those who want a certificate. All right, you're going to get a certificate in Logistics 101. So we're going to ask you to complete the application form. I have here Sangster. Where's Sangster? Sangster Philip, my assistant here. And Sheridan, of course, now for master's student. They're going to help me to collect the forms. Thank you so much, sir. Good to see you. Right, so collect the forms. You just need to fill out your name properly. Don't let me write it for you. Right, because how you write it is going to show your certificate here. Well, the certificate is from the Caribbean Maritime Institute in collaboration with the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. It's endorsed by the Ministry of Education, the Heart Trust NTA, the Ministry of Transport Works and Housing, the Port Authority of Jamaica. Oh my gosh, the Civil Aviation Authority. So you're well certified when you finish, not true? So we ask you to put it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's roll. Shipping is one of the oldest industries in the world, next to prostitution. So shipping has been around for many years. King Solomon built one of the first transshipment ports. He was so wise that kings and queens from all over would go to him and ask him to sell them horse and chariots. He'd go to Egypt and he'd mark them up 500% and sell them back as King Solomon's branded horse and chariot. That was early transshipment. King Jehoshaphat, another king who built a fleet of ships that were wrecked before they ever sailed. That was early terrorism, and you could not blame that on bin Laden. So shipping has been very dynamic. Did you know that Noah's Ark has been the largest ocean-going vessel ever built until the late 19th century? Noah's Ark could hold 569 modern railway cars. Any basketball players here? No? Any wannabe? Except Clive? All right. Noah's Ark could hold 20 NBA basketball courts, 1.5 million cubic feet of space, or 100,000 square feet of space. Noah's Ark was a mega ship. This was the first project God gave to man. If you go back, this is a scale model of Noah's Ark. Naval architects have said that it was virtually impossible for the ark to overturn. Genesis 6, verse 14 to 16, you see that Noah's Ark had 45 feet. It was a 6-story building. Can you imagine God give Noah for a build an ark, never give no scaffold, no ladder, no escalator, no elevator, no crane, for build a 6-story building? Can you picture that? That was the task that Noah took on to build that ark. In 34 BC, a large ship at that time, the largest ship, was 25 meters. You see the LOA, the word is little. It means the length of the ship. The second one, the breadth of the ship, how wide it was. And the D stand for the draft, how much water you need to float the ship. Because you know, ship not on a wheel, you know. And you have no brakes. You have forward, neutral, and reverse. So if you stop a ship, you have to go from forward to reverse. Don't try it in your car, you mash up the transmission. All right? The bigger the ship then, and the heavier it becomes, is the more it's sinking in the water, so you need more water to float the ship. You get the picture? So here them talks, we have to dredge the Kingston Channel. Because it means as we get bigger ship, what happens? It's going to need more water to float. You see it? So we have to dredge the channel. In 1492, let's move to the time of Columbus. This was a mega ship. 1492, you see the ship was getting longer. At 24 meters, 8 meters, you see the draft is now 2 meters. That means you need over 6 feet of water to float that ship. You see it? So the ships were getting bigger. Right, so this was the ship that Columbus visited Jamaica and him never discovered Jamaica. Jamaica discovered him because him the last. Not true? So, it was in 1956 that they had a change when they introduced the container. You seen those metal containers on the road? That changed the world. I'm going to show you a video clip that summarizes it.
Got an iPhone? Everyone knows it was invented and designed at Cupertino in California. Who knows where the complex bits and pieces of its innards are made or assembled? Apple doesn't say. The industry credits China, Japan, Germany, South Korea, and of course the United States itself. Just think for a moment of the trillions of parts and finished goods moving cheaply around the world every second, a small portion by air, but most by sea. We call it globalization. But the man who basically made globalization a reality in our lives is too little known. This is his story, the story of the man who makes your day. In the Great Depression of the 30s, when millions of Americans were out of work, worse than now, Malcolm McLean was a 24-year-old truck driver. He got a job to take cotton bales from Fayetteville in North Carolina all the way to a pier in Hoboken, New Jersey, for shipping overseas. He was glad of the work, but when he arrived, he got bored out of his mind, sitting in his truck, waiting and waiting and waiting on the docks, as the worker ants muscled crates and bundles off other trucks and into slings that lifted the goods into the hold of the ship. On board the ship itself, with much yelling and arm-waving, the stevedores then unloaded each sling and saw its contents placed in a designated position in the hold. Malcolm wasn't just bored. He was fuming. His income depended on getting back to North Carolina to pick up more loads in his truck. Out of the frustration, inspiration struck. Wouldn't it be great, he thought, if my trailer could be lifted and placed on the ship without its cotton bales being touched? Yes, it would be great. It would be revolutionary. For centuries, general non-bulk cargo had been shipped in the process he watched. It was called break bulk shipping. Boxes, bales, crates, handled piece by piece. What Malcolm envisaged would have saved him only a day, but it would have saved everyone else something like 2 weeks in loading and unloading the ship. On average, it was 8 days to haul and distribute break bulk shipments in the hold, plus another 8 days at the other end to retrieve and distribute. All that time would have been saved if Malcolm McLean could have just driven his truck onto the ship and at the other end driven it off. Well, today, that concept is a reality. The concept that occurred to Malcolm is known as containerization. It has done more than just save a great deal of time. It's the reason why we have a thriving global marketplace, offering us that infinite variety of things. And it's the reason we can move cargoes from remote parts of the world at minimal cost. Malcolm had his idea in 1937. The 24-year-old truck driver, sitting in his truck in Hoboken, was 40 before he did anything about it. By then, he'd built his one truck into a big trucking company. He borrowed money from an enterprising vice president at Citibank in New York and set about designing the steel boxes and the decks of the ships to carry them, stacked one on top of another. A lot of people thought he was crazy. Inventors always attract armies of naysayers who can never remember how critical they were. For our part, we should remember Malcolm McLean. His first container ship, the Ideal X, sailed from Shed 154 at Marsh Street, Port Newark, with 58 well-filled boxes. It was the beginning of the container era, shrinking our world and enlarging human choice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the box that changed the world. The same container go on a ship and come off. You see it? But before this, ships used to spend 3 to 4 months in port. When a ship went in port, the crew had enough time to go ashore, get married, start a family, divorce before the ship sailed. No containerization have changed all of that. There are 16 types of containers. Let me just skip through some of them quickly for us. For different purposes. Sorry. 16 types of containers. I'm just going to skip over this quickly because I'll just show you some of them. You see this one? The orange on top of the green? You know, mean PNP, the on top of JLP, you know. It's what you call an open top container. The orange part is a tarpaulin, right? Like a convertible car, right? And this is, if this is called an open top, what do you call this one? Open side, yes, or closed top, same thing, right? Well, open side. And these are tanks with a container frame around them. They call them tanktainers, right? But I want to introduce something to you about the container. The standard unit of measure is not the number of containers you have, but what you call the number of TEUs. The T stands for 20 foot, equivalent for the E and U for the unit, so TEUs. What it means, you have two sizes of container. The small one is 20 feet long, and it's okay to say 20 foot, but nobody says 20 foots. Right? And the big one is 40 feet long. You get the picture? So the 20 foot is equal to 1 TEU, one 20 foot equivalent unit. And if the 20 foot equal 1 TEU, how much would the 40 foot be equal to? 2. Get the picture? All right, let's roll. 90% of the cargo in the world traveled by sea in terms of volume. But 10% of volume by air, but 10% by air value over 40%. And of course, you know, Brother Clive is the airman now. We move from sea to air, you know. So the sea to airman, we have to call him now, right? There are two forces driving the global shipping industry. The first is called scale. I'm not talking something where you scrape off a fish, you know. Called economies of scale. And the second is called technology. Let's look at scale. Let us say, all right, how many people can hold a robot taxi? 5, you're a bankrupt robot man. How much? 10. Now, you know, we're getting up the numbers, right? If 4 can hold a Corolla, you put 5 people in a robot taxi. Eh? All right. Let us use a round number 10. All right. If we have 10 people in a robot taxi, I go from half a tree, go 3 miles. I would say bills ahead, right? All right? $100 ahead. All right. If you have 10 people in the taxi, you full it up half a tree. When you reach 3 miles, how much money you should collect? $1,000. Good. But let us say you get a coaster now. A coaster, if a taxi can hold 10, coaster can hold 100, not true? Can anything go in at a seat? It turn up sideways across the horizontal in a seat, right? All right, let us work with 100. If you put 100 people in now, and you drop a rate, you say you can charge $50 a head. 100 people at $50 a head. How much money should you collect when you reach a 3 mile? $5,000. So by using a bigger coaster bus than a little taxi, you can carry more people for less per head and make more money. You see it? Instead of making 1,000 with the taxi, you can make 5,000 with the coaster. That's the same thing I go on in the shipping industry. They might use bigger ship to carry more rows, more robots. You get the picture? At a lower cost per head. So this is what happened with scale. Technology changed the world. You know, if I'm baby born, not true? Then born with computer in your lap. That's all. This is on board one of the Virgin Atlantic flight. I shouldn't say it, you know. I got to tell my friend, I should put a Caribbean Airlines there. All right. All right. We're on board on a Virgin Atlantic flight. You can stay at your seat, you can order drinks or somebody another seat. So even if you stammer, the technology can help with lyrics. What's up? So you can change your business. So, ladies and gentlemen, from them born with tablet in their hand, not true? When we young, we used to take tablet, don't them play with tablet, not true? All right, so technology change the world. When people used to do at the beach first time, they go look starfish, jump up and down and take picture of a good time, not true? Sit down and chat. What people do at the beach today? Play on their phone. No wonder Samsung said they might make one waterproof phone now. So you see, technology change the way we live and we do business. I went to the Kingston Public Hospital about 2 months ago. There was an accident. While I was down there, I see a little stretcher come out, you know. Person come up in a green. So you know, say serious at theater, not true? And one trolley, I see come out, you know, like something that we hold up a drip. A chair, and I see come out if you want. Somebody about 12 bag, you know. So you know, so the condition serious, not true? So I just start to see a little word of prayer for the person. And you see the trolley passed me, I see the person reach down under the sheet and take out a cell phone. Selfie. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you reach for? Eh? Your phone. Not yours. I know you reach for your plate. But your phone too, not yours. Yeah, man. You reach for your phone, man. All right. So we know it go. Ladies and gentlemen, this also show you the scale. As the ship gets bigger, see there? They need more water for sail. So therefore, we have to dredge the channel deeper. That's the picture. This is the, can you imagine me go up on one bank there? I can't even call it bank because I stream live. One of them bank, I may ask them, managers in that bank. I say, we call it back of one ship. Then say trunk. Back of a ship near stern, you know. Trunk away up on car, not true? All right, let's call it the stern then, right? This is the stern of the world's largest container ship. You remember we say not talk about the number of container, talk about the number of TEUs. You remember that word there? What I mean again, TEU? 20 foot equivalent unit. Yes, Daddy, you get a distinction. You have to make sure. Yes, songster, make sure you get a distinction for me. All right. This ship can carry 36,000 motor cars. Which parking lot in Jamaica can hold 36,000 motor cars? You know the parking lot? We don't know, you know. 863 million tin of baked beans. Who can eat that off? This ship can carry 8 Eiffel Tower out of France. A big ship, monstrosity. If we take off the container and put that Migla, New York City, look here. The 18,000 TEU that cover the whole place. I'm saying some things you're going to put them on a timeline make it make sense. Here, just follow me now. All right, shortcut. You have a shortcut down here, sir. Boy, the diagram kind of come out a little bit low. I can get one of them lighter off. I think it. Oh, it's an Africa camera. I know Africa. No, I know Africa recording, sir. But you have a shortcut. Singapore, the right here, sir, at the mouth, and you have 2 islands, Malaysia and Indonesia. So you have a little narrow passage between the 2 of them. And it's natural. Right? And it's called the Straits of Malacca. Malacca Strait, or a shortcut down South China Sea, near China down there. Yeah? In other words, if you're coming from China and you go through the shortcut, yeah, your journey will be 6,000 kilometers longer. You see it? So, and we know the shortcut is important. Anybody ever take a shortcut and have a bad experience? Yes? I'm not going to ask you whether there are people in here that want the night, they're with a thief. We're not going there before you get saved, not true, sister? All right. But we understand, shortcut draw blood sometimes, but shortcut important, right? All right. So, but this little narrow passage between the two countries is a natural passage. And it is like what you call a lane or alley. You know a little lane, narrow lane? I said, look, so when we tell you about this street of Malacca, one shortcut, I remember it as an alley or a lane. That's all right? All right, I'm going to introduce to you 3 shortcuts to explain to you the most important shortcut when you hear about when I'm going to explain what it be, and it's the Panama Canal. Right? Let me water there. Thank you. Yeah, man, thanks. I can't go into this. You have 3 shortcuts. The first is called the Malacca Strait. The maximum size of a ship you can go through the Malacca Strait is called the Malacca Max. Are you Jamaica to the max? Same thing, the max means the maximum size. So put it in context now. This word DWT, on a text language and a DWL and a deadweight laugh. It means deadweight ton, the deadweight ton of the ship. Let me explain to you what deadweight ton means. Let us say that this buckle is a ship, right? If you weigh the source of buckle and the buckle weigh 1 pound, and then I full up the buckle of water, which represent the cargo a ship can carry, and I weigh the buckle on the ship and it weigh 5 pounds, how much the cargo weigh? 4 pounds. But the buckle and the ship weigh 5 pounds is what you call the deadweight ton. You get the picture? So when you put the ship and put the maximum amount of cargo you can carry in it and weight, that is the deadweight ton. You get the picture? So this means that a ship up to 300,000 deadweight ton is the maximum can go through the Malacca Strait. And the ship have a depth or draft of 68 feet or 21 meters. And 18,000 TEU ship can go through there. What does this mean? The world's largest container ship, we just show you. You have no problem go through that shortcut here. Get the picture? And we say the Malacca Strait is a alley or a lane. Let us move quickly now to the Suez Canal. I'm going to show you a little map, make it make little sense. The Suez Canal is a little shortcut between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. You have the Red Sea on one side, you have desert, and you have the Mediterranean Sea. So then just dig one trench through the desert. We connect the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. Water ever back up in your backyard yet and you dig a little trench and let it out in your neighbor yard? You're sorry you do it, not true? Yeah, he said not do it again. Pray for me, yeah? Brothers and sisters, please pray for him that he won't dig trench and let out water in their neighbor yard again. All right. But that is what them do. Dig a trench and let the same water through. But this now is smaller, but I want you to notice that instead of 300,000, it's 120,000 deadweight ton. 16 meters or 58 feet deep, and you notice that the 18,000 TEU ship can still go through. Get the picture? So then 2 shortcuts, there are no restriction. In terms of the size of the big ship them. Now we come up to the Panama Canal. The maximum size of a ship can go through the Panama Canal is the Panamax. Right, same thing? 65,000 deadweight ton or 40 feet deep. But when you notice, can the world's largest container ship go through there, sir? No matter how small it up and fold it up and tie up, not true? One policeman stop on Corolla come from Clarendon. He said, notice the passenger head them like are big. So the people here, there's a big man, a big head people, so they tap a car, not 4 cow the man have in there. So I fold them up on their head up like here, so up, you know. So I say, if you take them out, when you take them out, 4 big cow, you know. He said, if you can put them back in, the man fold them out. He said, go on, master, go on, go on. Not even Roger Clark, we call it satellite, could have picked up that day. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right, so the Panama Canal is restricted. So, for years, this can make the, we call it, limit the size of ships that can go through the canal. Get the picture? But the Panama Canal, there is a shortcut we are going. I'm going to explain it more to you. This now shows you the trench of the Suez Canal, when you dig through the desert. You join the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. So you dig one trench and let the water through. Not true? All right. That was a big thing back then. Oh gosh, my graphics not coming out clear. All right. Huh? Yeah, the small one. Yeah, look on the small one. You can see it on the small one? Those who can't so good kind of cringe up your eye. You can come forward, you know. Anybody come to the front seat and get distinction. Here come. All the people in the back will get receipts. So come. I'm like you come forward, yeah? All you come forward. Come on, Tim. You know you can't see fast so fast. You come here, my dear. You come. May I see your eye, doctor. You come here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to move from Europe and you want to go Far East, follow the red dot. Look here now. You have to go all the way around the tip of Africa. And that takes you 16,000 kilometers. See the red light on the screen? And if you go through the Suez Canal, look on the blue light now, a little shortcut, you go to your trench. You know, you climb where people in fancy, they're 10,000 kilometers, so you save 6,000 kilometers. So it'll show you how the shortcut them work, here? So that's all to do. Why build the Panama Canal? The Panama Canal was built for the United States. What do you mean by this? The US is a big country. Because when you go from North America, you go to one little marga sitting in the middle, they call Central America. Then one big foot at the right bottom, they call South America. So if you move from the east coast of the United States to go to the west coast, you have to go all the way around the tip of South America. 21,000 kilometers, that's too far. Because what them say, the voyage to California, which is on the west coast, that's when you're coming from the east coast, by way of Cape Horn on the bottom of South America, will take up to 6 months, 5 to 6 months, too long. While if you go through the Isthmus or the Central America, you can do it in a weeks. So everybody wants a shortcut, not true? You see the picture now. So a shortcut important. But the Panama Canal, this is a Frenchman by the name of Ferdinand de Lesseps. I him to build the Suez Canal. But it costs 20,000 lives to build the Suez Canal, you know, for dig a trench. Because when you start, the people dig with their hand. Thirst kill them in the desert and heat and thing. So when he says Panama want to build a canal, he said, piece of cake, I can't do that. Nobody need to talk to me because I build the world's largest canal. So, I start going to dig a trench. Because that me do, a Suez Canal. The man going to start dig a trench. What dig and dig and dig till he dead, die a papa. Die broke. Why? Them never tell him, say, Panama is set up different from the Suez Canal. They never tell us the Panama Hill line Miguel Ital and where you see there. I dig down the whole of Panama and I have to dig down a deep trench to let the ship them through. So if you never did Panama, we have a big trench today. But so what they needed then was an escalator to carry the ship over the mountain. You see it? So in order to build the Panama Canal, what they had to do is to flood out the Panama Mountain and build where you call some locks. I'm going to show you. Right? So the ship driving at it, you ever go up on the escalator yet? Go up on one step and you turn up and you carry you up and up and up and up, reach the top and you carry down and then you fling it off and your back drop. Same thing. So you need that bridge. You get the picture? So this is to show you the Panama Canal. If you move from the east coast of the United States to go to the west coast, all this is saying now you have to go all the way around the tip of South America, 21,000 kilometers. Look on the monitor. And you have to move now through the Panama Canal at 8,000 kilometers. So what we are saying, the Panama Canal is the shortest route for going to the United States coming from the Far East. So if you increase the size of the canal, the ship them are going to move from the other route them to come through the Panama Canal route because it's shorter. And everybody likes shortcut and it's cheaper. You get the picture? What is the Panama Canal? Let me explain it. The Panama Canal is a 2-lane highway going up a bridge. You can't follow me, I think with me? But you go up Causeway Bridge, a so you kind of set up. Highway go up a bridge, 2-lane. When you reach the top of the bridge, you have a toll booth up there. But this toll booth kind of different, because you have no tag on the ship them, you know. And the ship go no arm lift up and let them through. Toll booth, you have to pay a toll before the ship sail. And the toll kind of dear. Because 72 US dollars you pay for 1 TEU. So if when we expand the Panama Canal, I want 8 or 10,000 TEU ship I go through there. Right? I pay 72 US dollars TEU. What happened? $720,000 for each pass. Not true. No enough money that. So if the ship come to Jamaica, a man say, boy, my birthday today now. I not work for my birthday because I not work on my birthday. Not true. So I'm not going to work. I stay home. And you know, so if them give you a time, I tell you, say, at 10:30 in the morning, if you pass with the ship, If you cross the canal and you go 11 o'clock, you know what happened? The money dead. You have to pay again and join the back of the line. So it's an expensive joke, not true? Some man said, then the man go on, some man, I don't take me like a day for my birthday and the ship just one day for sale. No, nothing that, not true. But you see, I go, the way we think of Jamaica and all right today, it don't all right in an international context. You get the picture? So that's something I have to explain. The next thing again, with this toll, is that, can you imagine when the ship come to Jamaica and I go back empty, I have to pay it again. If you run taxi, and I pay one trip you get, and you have to drive, go back empty, you have to make sure you charge the passenger enough so you can buy gas, go back. Not true? Same thing I go on with the ship them. I'm going to come back to that point there. So the Panama Canal is a 2-lane highway go up a bridge. We have to prepare toll and you don't get it back if you're late. You see what I go on? And all they do now, they add 1/3 lane to a highway to make it a 3-lane highway and a 2-lane. So National Works Agency, I build one another. I build another. A lane up there. You see it? But the 3rd lane they're adding is 3 times bigger than any of the existing 2 lanes. That's all the Panama Canal is. Not true? When you have them big, sophisticated, try to mix you up. All the top are 3-lane highway. They might add 1/3 lane to it. Get the picture? And the 3rd lane will be 3 times bigger than any of the existing 2 lanes. That's all. But you understand that? All right, good. Ladies and gentlemen, first time before independence, everything used to come from the motherland, England, not true? You ever get some big old ugly boot and some ugly things and say, it's strong, it's good, and England to come from, not true? And you used to come from England and say, hey, good, but now when you ugly, see? But we say good, not true? Because everything used to come from north. See England up so? France, Germany, Holland, everything used to come from north to south. See United States or so. And see Jamaica down there so. So you see that north to south. You see, so you had no obstruction of global trade. Everything was fine. With the exception of 1912, the 10th of April, when the unsinkable ship, anybody remember that ship there? When name? Titanic is so like I did upon it. All right. That ship was the largest ship afloat. And she sailed from Southampton in London, make a quick stop at France, go up Ireland and pick up some woman to throw coal like fire. Because steam not propel it, you know. And set sail for go cross the Atlantic now to go to the United States, to go to New York, from London to go to New York. So they want to break the Blue Diamond record. In other words, the fastest ship for shot it across the Atlantic. That was what they want to do. This ship weighed 46,000 gross tons, met at 1912, you know. The first big iron ship, the world's largest ship. It had over 3 million rivets in the hull. Can you picture it? State of the art. 1912, the ship had air condition. 1912, the ship had elevator, escalator. 1912, the ship had sauna, swimming pool. Where I say, at this ship around things. You had 3 class of passengers upon it. The first class passenger them pay £800. If you to work out £800 at today's money, at 35,000 strong English pound. Can you imagine if Jamaican pay 35,000 strong English pound go on a ship? When they come off, they carry people and dining table, not true? Can they pay for it? Can they bed and chimney and go with them? Right. So they had ultimate luxury. Then you had the second class passengers. These are the people who pay £100. £100 translated to their money. A 5,000 strong English pound. Enough money that too. Nearly $1 million, you know. So no one they call that ship the Millionaire Special. Then you had the third class passenger them. The third class passenger pay £30. You couldn't be say ship are going to the same place, not true? But for the £30, where you pay for is where you get. A 700 of them in the third class and 2 toilets. Hello? That means no bother eat now for baked beans, no for vegetable. You have enough dumpling and yam. You want yellow yam and tough yam. Yes, because we carry up on the ship, carry back with you. So when the ship go across, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine 2 toilets, but English people never like bathing anyway, you know? So the back bathing part, the toilet part, they like challenge, you understand? So, in 1912, 4 days in the journey across, with 2,228 people upon board and 12 dogs. This ship had over 7 million pieces of letter upon it. Because it was Her Majesty the Queen Royal Mail ship. Can you imagine how much lyrics upon a ship there? No wonder when you sink them fish, there whole heap of lyrics down on the sea. The ship had over 40,000 eggs, 15,000 bottles of wine, over 5,000 tons of meat. Can you picture that? It was the ultimate in luxury. This ship was designed to sail with even 4 watertight compartments, a leak. So it was called the unsinkable ship. This ship had 238 people working in the engine room only if it was through a coal knife fire. A 4 furnace down there. It comes like a mini hell. Can you imagine how much water it takes for you when you sink? 238 people working on that through. This ship was traveling at 23 knots. Knots sound big, not true? Big word. A knot is a nautical mile per hour. A nautical mile just 15% longer than a land mile. Those of you can run, 1 lap run stadium at 400 meters. And 4 laps down stadium 1600 meters make 1 mile. And you measure 15% more, you get a nautical mile. You see it? That's all. At 23 knots, it was the fastest ship afloat. Right? And this ship 4 days in her voyage, while she was going through cold in April, you know. And other ships ahead, they say, cut your speed, iceberg ahead. Captain Smith said, get off my radio, I need to order caviar and champagne for my guests when I get to New York. By the time they see the iceberg, they all try to shoot the ship, they might crook the reverse, do everything and couldn't tap it. When you lick the iceberg at 2320 hours, 20 minutes to midnight, in 2 hours she sank to 12,480 feet of water. And they didn't have no hold for lifeboat, few lifeboats upon it. Captain Smith said, women and children first to the lifeboat. And you know, he went down with the ship, he died. And the whole third class passenger them, then lock the door, all of them dead. Can you imagine? Because they never have enough lifeboat. What a crew lock, not true? And the ship sank. But can you imagine when the ship sink, 1,500 people dead? A peer inquiry on all sides of the Atlantic, and they have an inquiry till all people can recall everything happened on the 2 sides. Right? And that's 1912. And within 2 years after, they came out with the first international maritime convention called Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS. Safety of Life at Sea. We now regulate how much lifeboat and sitting off on your ship to make them safer. 100 years after, ladies and gentlemen, another ship sank. This time not in 12,480 feet of water, but in 50 feet of water. This time the ship never lick an iceberg, it lick a reef. This time the captain never go down with the ship and first come off a ship. When they ask him what happened, he say accidentally fell off the ship and fall our lifeboat. They believe him. That was the Costa Concordia. So ladies and gentlemen, the thing is, since that Titanic sinking, back in the 80s and 90s, the trade orientation changed. That means how world trade done. Everything now come from England again and get so expensive with the big old heavy boat. They might as well keep them up, not true? Everything start make a China now. So things start come from the east to the west. You see it? So trade move from north to south to east to west. You get the picture? So with trade orientation change now, then start, so we say offshore. You send everything go make a China. And the United States flag, then send go China go make. So this is to show you the Suez Canal. You see Suez Canal, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Red Sea. You see it? And this is the Mediterranean Sea. So they dig a trench right there, so, and it's connect the Red Sea. So you're coming from the Far East, you come through here and come over to the US East Coast. The next one, you come via the Panama Canal, and the next one, you come from here and go around the back of the world and come and reach the West Coast. But 60% of the population live over here, so you have to send a container up and truck or train across there, so. So the Panama Canal is one of 3 competing routes, but the shortest route. So by expanding it, you're going to shift the cargo from the other route and send through Panama. You get the picture? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, when you go through a toll booth, remember the picture I tell you about? Top of the bridge there? You come down one country and meet like people on the highway called Jamaica. And if you know one good navigator, you can sight Jamaica. You can run up in Jamaica. So Jamaica can be an obstacle to global trade. I can help facilitate global trade. But you know what position we're playing right now? We're a major obstacle. Hello? So we can decide where we want to the future. If we want to change that, we are right for people to lick up on the coastline. You get the picture? So, all right, with that, we move on. So, ladies and gentlemen, this just to show you that a cut across section of existing 2-lane in Panama Canal, the ship can carry 4,800 TEU or 4,000, depending just like a robot taxi or small like yourself. And then the new lane will now carry 12,000 or 12,500 TEU. You get the picture? But it can't carry the 18,000 TEU even when they expand it. Because back in 2006 when Clive and I went to Panama, and he got the head of the Panama Authority to contact us. At the time, them say, boy, at this time the biggest ship afloat is 8,000 TEU. How long the Panama Canal about? And the biggest ship going to be 10,000 TEU. So if we build the canal 25% of the biggest ship we imagine I go build, we're supposed to be all right for the future, not true? No reason we plan that. But before the man start digging first hole, then come out to a big old 18,000 TEU ship. Globalization and no respect for investment. Ladies, they come like you go buy one boat. You ever buy one boat and it's pretty, but they never really have the right size, but you kind of take it because you love it. And when you walk, people say, what a nice pair of boots. And you wink at what's it, tongues? Not true. They're blind, but you like it, not true. So no matter how you are, small up yourself, you can get a big ship through 18,000 TEU through the same way. So ladies and gentlemen, this was explained to your canal. You see, it's a bridge. The ship going in a chamber and then pump water from the bottom and lift up the ship. And you have some hydraulic gates. See gate them here? Right. You get the picture? Thank you. There's no pushing the car. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you now how the bridge thing set up. You see the bridge here now? Up and down. When you go through the Panama Canal, remember I connect two oceans, the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. So when you come from the Pacific Ocean, you go in at the first lock. You lock with the hydraulic gate and you go in and lock it up and then pump water. You have two chambers in there. Everybody know chamber? Chimney pot? Same thing. You full up the first chimney and you lift up with the second one, called the Miraflores lock. When the ship go in there, you lift it 16 meters above sea level. So you see you carry ship up in the air. Then you go to the Pedro Miguel lock and you carry 10 more meters up in the air. So you're going 26 meters in the air. And then you go to the Gatun Lake, which is the largest man-made freshwater lake in the world. And you sail across and you go to the Gatun lock, which have 3 chambers. 3 chimney pot. You lower it and let out upon the Atlantic Ocean. Yes. So you get the picture? You carry the ship up in the air and over. So we said the Strait of Malacca was a Ali? Ali, Strait of Malacca. And we said the Suez Canal was a trench. And the Panama Canal is a bridge. Right, you get the picture? So 3 shortcut them different.
A study from researchers at the University of California in Los Angeles says that the effects of global warming may open up 2 new shipping routes, including across the North Pole as well as through the Northwest Passage, making travel in these areas of the Arctic Ocean a possibility for the first time. The Northwest Passage is a route that goes directly from Newfoundland to the Bering Strait along Canadian coastline. The routes have always been blocked by ice cover, but research predicts the level of summer sea ice in the Arctic Ocean could decrease significantly to make seasonal travel possible by mid-century, saving shipping companies time and money. a route across the North Pole would be 20% shorter than the northern sea route along the Russian coastline, which has seen several dozen ships pass through and would not incur the hefty fees Russia charges as it would be in international waters. The study from UCLA predicts that the new routes will be accessible to use approximately every other year by the mid-21st century, but only during the late summer season when there is less ice. The study says, although sea ice currently represents the single greatest obstacle to trans-Arctic shipping, numerous additional factors, including dearth of services and infrastructure, high insurance, escort fees, unknown competitive response of the Suez and Panama canals, poor chart, and other socioeconomic considerations, remain significant impediments to maritime activity in the region.
What is this saying, ladies and gentlemen? Even by North Pole, I'm make shortcut. You know, Santa Claus has come in the last 2 years, not true? When I rain here, them thief off a wheel off a sleigh. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, they might look shortcut everywhere. So we call it global trading pattern a change up. Like you want big cow come and you make a shortcut, people can thief you something from all different directions. So in other words, the whole world has changed. Let's take it down to Jamaica. This is Jamaica in the 1900s. Do you know we have the oldest railway outside of England? We have railway before England and Canada, before United States and Canada have railway now. So we don't have no reason to be poor, ladies and gentlemen. We have no reason to be poor. So we have a train there, and the ship them coming with sugar and banana, but we're there today, we don't mash it up. Back in the days, downtown, we used to have what they call the finger piers. The port used to do a Victoria Pier, you know, on East Street, Hanover Street. Anybody remember them there? Well, when I look at it, some people go, I don't remember like they're young. That's good. All right. But you saw what you call the finger pier. Hold out your hand them. Let's see like this. Open your finger them. I saw the pier them used to set because you couldn't just make a ship go aside, so. Because if one ship there for 3-4 months, you can't get no more business. Not true? So you put the port out so the ship them drive in here so she can hold it per ship. You see it? Call the finger pier. Let me show you now. This is a plan downtown in the 1900s. You see the little jet in the mountain water, so I finger them and juke out so if the ship them come up. We have had 35 plan downtown development plan, but we never implement one of them. The problem is that we develop too much policy and too much plan. That when we're done with tired, we don't have no time to implement them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we can't continue so. This is how the finger pier them look. You see the finger them jet out in the water? Because all you needed to offload the cargo was a little narrow strip or some wood. And you can swing off a bag of flour and sugar. Right? But when the container came, this type of port couldn't manage it. You go try to put the metal container upon like a wooden stick and pop it down, not true? You ever go to some places and go wedding there, some pretty plastic chair, and some big people like me and Clive go in there and go sit down on the people in the chair and see your foot them just spread out. Not true? And that's what happened with the port there. It used to happen to me when I big like Clive, but now I get slimmer. Is right, Sheridan? Have to me again. All right, good. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see the finger pier. Then now, they have to build a new port. When the container came, we have to dash a new port east. You see, look down, so like a peg out in the water. I pile them on top of the wood, you so that we are swinging off a thing. But when the container came, we have to left that and go build a new port on a new port west. Because you now have the containers. You remember we just watched a thing with Malcolm McLean drive off the ship them? See the first container ship that come to Jamaica. It's the first container come off in 1966. So there has been a shift because of technology. When the container came, it came with a new system that requires a new port. You get the picture? Then now, ladies and gentlemen, we also had another change. Because all you needed back then was a big shed to put the cargo in. You need a big shed when near to the ship where when you take off the sugar and the banana, they don't wet up and they don't thief them too quick. But when the container came, the container itself became its own shed. So you no longer need a shed. So it called for a change in the type of port infrastructure. You get the picture? So you no longer need a port with shed. You don't need an open space to put on the container and crane to take off the container for the ship. You get the picture? Let me say to us now, ladies and gentlemen, that the world gone to another stage now, that we need another change. Because that is how we get in transshipment business, you know. Because what do you mean by transshipment? Transshipment, United States, no ship can come to the United States, can drop off and take up cargo as you like. Unless the ship is registered in the United States. Some people say, okay, you want to charge me over money? Well, me not come like and drop off and sort out the container. I go sort out it somewhere nearer before me come like and send a little ship them into you. And that is how the transshipment business come about. But because Jamaica right in a middle highway, when you come out of the Panama Canal, I want a good spot to put the transshipment business. You get it? So we became a transshipment port. But follow me now, ladies and gentlemen. Since 2010, transshipment business dead. What do you mean by that? The people say, I'm tired of carry every container I carry it. Because 9 out of every 10 containers will leave Jamaica and have no export for go back in there. Because services are we export, not true. We buy people them things from abroad and we eat wood for food and we belch and we talk out it. So we have to change how we do the thing. 9 out of every 10 containers come off and go back empty. So them say, no man, you find something give me for put in it. Find some artificial export, give me. You get the picture? So the world now calling for a new type of port. So now the market has shifted from what you call a transshipment business to what you call a global gateway. What do you mean by global gateway? You have to build a new type of port now. We're surrounded by 1,000 acres. We're going to have now an economic zone behind it where you can carry things and add value to it and then ship it back out. So then the way I ship back out, now go back out as empty, now I go as export. So your business is going to become more attractive. And when you call in people for add value now, if you do things to it, I see you create jobs. Get the picture? So I'm going to explain that a little bit more. So that is the concept where market I move from now. So you see the big pretty port we have done, so? It's a transshipment port, but the market wants something bigger than that. It's coming like we are going to try to put container that are downtown on the finger pier wharf. You get the picture? Technology shift pan way again. Not because we're ready for the shift, you know, we spend our money on the port. But they're not busy with that. They want something different. So we have to work with the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if I were just to walk you quickly through the Caribbean, because when you build port first time, you just need just enough space. But if you will shift your existing port to the new type of global gateway, you need open space. I'm going to show you Barbados. This is the port in Barbados. If you want to hold more space, you have to burn out and kill off them people around us. So. And that won't be a good idea, don't you think so? So praise the Lord. All right, good. So we won't do that then. We'll leave them alone. Let's move on then. You go to Freeport Container Terminal in the Bahamas. And you want to hold it more space back here, so I'll never find a white soil. You say white soil is sand. You will not island. So you don't have enough space behind it for building a new gateway type port. So this type of port facility cannot transition. Be a good transshipment port, but you find transshipment dead. You just take them and weed out. Get the picture? Look at this now. This is cow seed in the Dominican Republic. Here was the port one called Rio Haina, right on the south. The port people surround the port. So they have to leg out that and go in and build a new port with whole heap of land space around it. You see it? And that is the type of concept where the global gateway port I look now. Because when you build the port bigger so now, you don't just want the port alone, you want an airport in there too. So you can connect cargo from sea to air, from air to sea. But how our airport was built and our seaport was built, they were never meant to talk to each other. Malice, the airport over there, so, them are one big industry. They say, me go up in the air, so me better than you, and the seaport over there, so me go up and see me bigger than you. And nobody don't talk to each other, not true? That can't work. Because the global community want to know we can move things from sea, go air, and air, go sea. You get the picture? So things shift one way again. So this is Carosida now. In the same space, you can put the value-added company in the back. Some big warehouse and workshop and thing where you can do all kind of little things. So what do you mean by value-added? Let's take it for example. You sell umbrellas. And this is a standard example I use in the 101 course. You sell umbrellas, but you buy umbrella from China. China sell umbrellas, but your market is in the United States. But you know, so every summer come, the rain fall up, they wet them up, so they always wear umbrella. But every time they're so fussy that they want a different kind of umbrella, you don't know what kind of they want. So you take advantage of a shipper leave China for pack one 40-foot container umbrella. So you put 1 million umbrella in there, we can hold. Let's say 1 million umbrella can hold a 40-foot container. But you don't know the color that you're going to need it in. So you put them in white. And you send it, go to what you call a nearshore facility, somewhere nearby United States. Near it, so when they want it, you can send it, go get them quick. You understand? So you send it come in a 40-foot container in a white. All of a sudden you get an order now, say J.C. Penney. We need 350,000 in a hot pink. So you're in a white. So you go up on the road and you go look and you say, all them more bleach. And you say, bleach, so you can't die good. Come, let me hire you. So you come in now, so your job now, I forgot dye the umbrella them now in a hot pink. Then you put on a little pretty handle on it. You put on a string on the handle, and you put in a plastic bag. And everything where you do, you charge 5 cents, 10 cents dollar. That's how you make your money. You see it? That's what you call value added. And then now, you go to Caribbean Airlines, because you want to get a New Jersey quick. The ship they move too slow. So you say, come Caribbean Airlines, I want to get this 350,000. So you put it on Caribbean Airlines in 3.5 hours to New York. Then by the truck come pick it up, and when the truck are back up in a store at J.C. Penney, you just put them out on the shelf same time. Because logistics is about not storing goods. You don't want no inventory. Just logistics about just in time. Get the picture? It's about not keeping inventory. You just want to see minimum. So in other words, the store says, me not rent no space in no storage. You must give me the umbrella and the things when me order when me want it. You get the picture? And that is how logistics come in. So this is how Jamaica can play a part. We call now true economic zones. Let me just stop yourself and explain to you. The logistics hub is not a place. And a Goat Island. I'm going to talk about Goat Island to you now, then I come from you. The logistics hub is not a place. It is a concept of development. That you have about 16 economic zones spread across Jamaica. Within the economic zone, you have the value added activity, like we are dye umbrella and do all them things there. Thank you. I want to stronger. Thank you. Right. So you get the picture. So the whole notion is that we'll have about 16 economic zones spread across the island. And when you set up economic zone, you're going to pull big companies to come in here, come do them process and production. Add value. Sometimes one little something about dinner, but you do it whole heap of time, you add up and make money. Get the picture? As opposed to transshipment, we used to just come and put on empty box and take them up. It will benefit the country. This will not benefit the country in a bigger way. Reasonable so far? This is now Kingston Container Terminal. See that's a seaport, yeah? So Kingston will have done with some of them shed for a long time. They might take time not them down now, because they might cater for container ships. But this is the Kingston Container Port. This is Fort Augusta Prison. Right? So the whole idea, they must dredge the channel and can take the material and dredge and make more land out there. But it is not big enough to move Jamaica from a transshipment to a gateway port. Get the picture? This is important, you know. And good we have it, but it's not big enough to carry to the next level. You get the message here? All right, good. This is MIT in Panama. When I Clive Port and go whole heap of time. So, in the back of the port seat now, you have built a warehouse and a value-added activity, but it's still not big enough to transition into a global gateway port. See it? This is now Mariel in Cuba. Big port of Cuba we open. See Havana here, the capital, the port is surrounded by landlocked in a city. So they couldn't expand it, so they have to left this and come on this and now come build a new port facility surrounded by 1,000 acres of land that you can now build a gateway port. You get the picture? So in order to move to make it transform the economy, you have to build a gateway port. You can't do it to the transshipment port. This is now Vernon Field. Vernon Field is the longest airstrip in the Caribbean, one of the longest. Well, 6,000 feet, but it has potential, not for the strip, but for the landmass around it to develop one of the biggest airports. Because it's surrounded by a whole heap of 1,000 acres. In a World War II in the 1940s, the United States come and swap with England, give them some battleship, and England give them some, what you call it, air base. And this is one of them. Can you imagine them give a piece of land down there? And down there, they mash up the place. Right? So this was it. Then now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Goat Island. And from there, this you have Little Goat Island and Big Goat Island. These are the Hellshire Hills, you know. Goat Island is in St. Catherine, for those of you who don't know. Right? Behind us is Kingston. Round us up. Right? This is Goat Island. See Vernon Field over here, so. This is the border between Clarendon and St. Catherine. Right? So, Goat Island is already an established port. I'm going to tell you more about that. Wait, before I go to here now. Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening, we cannot put a gateway port in Kingston. So the whole notion, the Chinese are putting a proposal on the table to build out a bigger port at Goat Island surrounded by 1,000 acres that will be integrated in as an economic zone. What would this mean? One of the companies that they intend to invite here is the world's largest crane manufacturer, right? This company makes 70% of the crane of the world. South America, Africa is predicted to have the fastest growth rate in new ports. So it's suit them for carry one crane manufacturing plant come assemble around here so. Because when you put a big old crane together, you can only send one or two on one ship. So it's quicker, easier to carry parts and come here and put it down, and that alone may employ 3,000 engineers. You're left and double go down, they go work. Another jobs too. Right, I just said to that now, and other jobs. You get the picture? So within that economic zone, whole value activity can take place. What do you mean by how this would benefit Jamaica? Let me explain a part. All part down at St. Elizabeth, when I build a backside company down there. Our people come from abroad, you know. Because we couldn't just go present to say so we build backside company and we never know a backside, not true. So they come and start build a place. And the boy named Hattie, when they look up on a hill, they say, where the up name? They say, Mandeville. Then go up and say, boy, coolie. So you hear 300 people that look house rent in a US dollar. What happened? Man say, what? Man run go build house and a sell house and a rent house. No, sir? Because you want to make money. Then no man start build up shopping center. Plaza go up, you want to make movie theater. Whole heap of church go up too. Wildman Street Pentecostal put a branch on there. You know, so everything I go up too. You see what I say? Because now the whole town about. Then people from England say, I can retire there. Because it's cool. Right? And before long you have one big city where I thrive. Very few people working at the backside company, but they spin off of the money, develop a new city. You see what's happening? That is the impact we can have on Jamaica. A rising tide lift up all ship out of the water. Get the picture? Why use that example? Look at the reverse now, when the backside is now dead, down there. The whole town dead. You see the picture? So, that is the impact and the potential we can have. One of the richest men were working at the Silicon Valley now, in the United States, never making money from computing. He making money from selling food. So the support services are important. If you have people that come here, come join with me for work, they will go live at them once and they go to school. They want more food per weekend, they want to learn more about Jamaican culture. They want to come to church and get saved, and you can come to Wildman Street and they get filled. And now they become a part of the church. So when you look at the church, you start see all kind of different pretty people from all different countries. So the whole thing changed up. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you a little video clip now. I want you to watch it carefully about England. Because when the Industrial Revolution came, England was the biggest port in the world. Because they make it first port and say big, and we have to just take it so. Then after now, when containerization came, the ship then get so big that they couldn't go to England. They couldn't go to London. So London started to lose its position. England had to make a decision, despite them have two big transshipment ports, one in Southampton, one in Felixstowe, but that could not transform the economy. They had to make a decision to take 1,800 hectares of land, which is in the most ecologically sensitive part of England, and turn to one port. But how they did it? They now take up all the animal them, all the reptile and lizard, and can go put them somewhere else. And them are live now and they're happy. And then clean up the water. And as a result, England will have the fastest growth rate in Europe this year. So I want to show us that our discussion can change. And I say, boy, they mash up the environment, we can't do nothing. Development can't take place with the environment. The worst people for the environment is a hungry man. A hungry man can do more damage to the environment than development can do. When a fisherman go and see and he knows some pitney there yard at bad and he's hungry, he die now right up a reef, not true? Can I go back? So, watch this clip now, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see what England had to do. I'm going to ask you to go up on the sound for me, please, because I'm not sure of the volume. I want to hear it clearly. Let's watch this clip, please. Thank you.
Since Roman times, London has been a thriving global trade centre. The biggest ships in the world docked right in the heart of the city, the best location for trade. London grew to be the world's largest port. Traders discussed issues of the day in small coffee houses, which became springboards to new business growth. Bustling warehouses within London's docks gave cargo owners space to store goods and distribute to markets. Then, with the advance of the industrial age, ships began to grow in size. Central London couldn't provide the deeper waters the ships needed, and they moved away from the city. The 1960s saw the biggest revolution yet in global shipping: containerization. Containerization led to an explosion in global trade, with ships doubling in size. Ports around the world modernized to handle container shipping. London's planners had great vision, but weren't able to turn their ideas into reality.
A great new deep-water seaport.
At the same time, vast distribution centres in the middle of the UK were built, giving cargo owners new places to store goods before moving them to shops or manufacturers. The way goods were moved across the country changed dramatically. Today, instead of goods being directly shipped into London, they enter ports miles away and are transported by road to the middle of the country for storage. But in the end, many of these goods will still come to London. This just isn't efficient. Millions of road miles are clocked up, transporting goods across the country, only for the freight to move again to the London area. Can we make it simpler, save time, cut costs, and do more for the environment? Can we make the way goods are moved around the country more efficient? In shipping, the relentless drive for efficiency means that the largest ships now on order will each carry 18,000 containers. By the end of 2013, over 200 new giants of the sea will be in service. These ships need ports with deeper water, longer berths, larger cranes, and higher productivity. If Britain can't handle these ships, it will lose out to foreign ports, and we will have to double handle our imports to get them into the UK, costing us even more. So let's make Britain more efficient. Let's think about how we can do things better. Let's think about the future. Let us introduce you to London Gateway. London Gateway is a custom-built global deep-sea port and logistics centre, bringing innovation and new opportunities to UK supply chains. London Gateway is conceived for the way business will be done tomorrow. It's Britain's new, world-class, future-proof infrastructure. London Gateway will handle the new giants of the sea faster than any other port in the UK. Its unrivaled location gives businesses unbeatable proximity to markets, with the ability to reach 2/3 of the UK more cost-effectively. Fully integrated with the port, the distribution centres on London Gateway's logistics park will remove the need to transport many containers across land, saving millions of road miles. Supply chains will be made more efficient by direct distribution to retailers. Making the UK more efficient is at the heart of London Gateway. Less road freight, reduced fuel costs, and lower carbon emissions is good news for everyone. The location is unrivaled. London Gateway will change the UK for the better, forever.
London Gateway involves dredging a section of the River Thames known as the Yantler Channel, and the French-registered Rubens is anchored and ready for work. The Rubens here is one of several dredgers which, over the next 3 years, will shift more than 20 million cubic metres of sand and silt from the bottom of the Thames estuary. I'm told by engineers here that's enough sediment to fill 12,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
The environmental management programme being undertaken by DP World on this project is immense. It is an example to the rest of the world and has seen DP World working closely with UK's governmental bodies, including the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, the Environment Agency, Natural England, the Marine Fisheries Agency and other organisations. This follows a rigorous public inquiry process which carried out full consultation. The site has an abundance of wildlife that DP World is committed to protecting. As part of a massive relocation scheme, reptiles like newts, slowworms, lizards, grass snakes and adders are being taken to a new location in Wiltshire. Meanwhile, the rare great crested newt will be moved to specially created sites nearby London Gateway. Paul Franklin heads a team of ecologists working with DP World who are collecting and relocating tens of thousands of reptiles. The project DP World is undertaking is one of the UK's largest reptile and ecological mitigation programmes ever to take place.
Okay, this is a female adder. This is Britain's only venomous reptile. This one's an adult female. See, they're generally quite placid, really. So in this tank we have a grass snake, which is a non-venomous snake that generally associated with wetland habitats and eats frogs and fish and other amphibians. This is a female common lizard, one of our most widespread reptiles, but still a declining species and protected under the Wildlife and Countryside Act. This is a slowworm, which is actually not a worm at all, but a species of lizard, of legless lizard.
Polythene fencing stretching a total of 25 kilometres criss-cross the London Gateway site, which is used to capture the reptiles.
These drift fences are designed to trap newts in the terrestrial habitat. In this pitfall bucket we've got a female smooth newt. As the newts migrate through the terrestrial habitat, they come up against the drift fence, walk along the drift fence and then fall down into the pitfall bucket. So pop her in there and move on to the next one.
26,000 mats are laid out across the site which warm up under the sun and attract a variety of wildlife underneath, including common newts, slowworms and lizards. All these mats are turned over twice a day by a team of 25 ecologists.
It really is exciting. It's not just reptiles and great crested newts that we're dealing with. We've also got water voles and badgers, and we're doing invertebrate surveys and botanical surveys on the site as well. So it is a very interesting project.
As part of an overall £50 million environmental protection scheme, DP World is turning this area to the west of the London Gateway site, which is currently arable land, into mudflats by breaching the sea wall. This will create new habitats for birds and other wildlife and replace intertidal mudflats that will be built over by the port development. Great Garland's Farm is the first site ready to receive great crested newts, while to the north of London Gateway is a massive area also being prepared for the protected reptile. Covering a total area of 53 hectares, DP World is creating 24 man-made ponds, which vary in depths of between 1.5 metres to 3.25 metres.
All right. Wait a second, I'm going to show you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's okay, I'm going to show another one. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you think that our discussion needs to change in Jamaica? Can you picture England doing this? You know who did this in England? The Arabs and the Chinese and the English people. And the money built it. So if this happened in England, our discussion stays so primitive. Not true. What they have to do is dredge 100 kilometers of the Thames River where whole of England depend on. But we have got to do even 5% of what they have to do. But at the same discussion, ladies and gentlemen, right now the fishing population dead. It's an opportunity for us to create an industry that we don't know we have. Our fishermen, I want to see a 50-mile fence-off fish pond. I don't want a tilapia. I want to see red snapper, dark teeth, hog snapper, right? Yellowtail, lobster growing there. So the fishermen can eat and full them belly. We can sell for a local fish in our hotel and export billions to China. That's what I want to say. No, sir? But let me show you now what our future look like if we continue the same way with the pathway depend. Look what our future look like. We don't have to do nothing with and the perfect pathway to achieve this. Watch this now. Dim the light again for me.
One by one, they fall. Machete to the forest floor, these trees will be cycled into charcoal, furniture, building materials, boats, even brooms, crafted by Hemingway-esque artisans who work for hours in dilapidated shacks. The brooms sold for pennies. In Haiti, not a scrap of wood is wasted, a practice that has laid waste to a once beautiful, verdant tropical nation. Now home to an environmental catastrophe according to UN experts.
You can see things here that you might not see anywhere else in the world.
The UN's humanitarian coordinator in Haiti has seen the most troubled environmental spots on the planet, but says Haiti's uniquely horrible, with only 2% of its trees remaining and 36 tons of topsoil, trash, and other debris washed into the Caribbean each year. And all this environmental damage is doing great economic damage to the island nation.
It means that every year, people become even poorer, despite the effort, if you want, from the international community, their own effort, they slide further down.
Many say they have no choice. Hacking down the trees is their only way to survive, even though they know it's killing Haiti's environment. Marcellus Luis is typical that way.
The land is mine, and I have no other means.
The trees are burned into charcoal and used for cooking and to heat homes. In Haiti, gas stoves are too expensive and electricity a luxury. Black charcoal is everywhere, sent into markets to fuel family shacks, roadside snack bars, and primitive restaurants. While millions create homes from trash and where sewage and food mix freely, environmental concerns are the realm of the privileged, foreigners, or workers. Everyone else is trying to survive. Georges Worley has watched the destruction of Haiti's environment for decades. He says that the Haiti of today is far from the beautiful green island he remembers.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Is there anything left to save in Haiti? Or has it already been raped and killed and then put to rest environmentally?
We still have the people. And that's the challenge we have to confront right now.
But people, of course, cannot stand in the way of nature or stop mudslides that bury entire communities. No trees means those mudslides are nearly guaranteed when it rains here, and entire cities are vulnerable during hurricane season. Nearly half a year after 4 storms leveled one of Haiti's largest cities, Gonaïves, people are still digging out as the UN coordinates relief efforts. The environmental damage extends to the sea as well. Haiti's coral reefs and marine life, once some of the most beautiful anywhere, are now devastated, pushing feeding fish away from fishermen.
We do worry about getting disease, but we're resigned to it. What else can we do?
Rodrigue Sabi says he can actually taste the difference in the fish they catch as conditions deteriorate.
There are fish that eat copper, and when we catch them and eat them, we get sick.
Fishermen like Rodrigue can spend up to 7 hours each day working these filthy waters. And because the pollution is so bad, oftentimes when they do pull up these huge nets, the only catch of the day is dead fish. Haiti's prime minister tells World Focus she wants to save what little is left here, but corruption and little money hurt her efforts.
I feel responsible too, in a way. And if after the 2 years I'm supposed to spend here until President Préval's terms ends, it's still the same, I will feel very ashamed myself. Not that there will be miracles, but I think things will have to be done. It's unbearable that people live under those conditions.
Conditions that have become a permanent way of life for millions living among trash, eating food not fit for animals, and finding it harder and harder to survive as the trees they depend on are now nearly gone. In Gonaïves, Haiti, this is Benno Schmidt reporting for World Focus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have one passport. I don't know about you. I should be coming in from the cold now, not going in. So I don't want to live in this Jamaica. I want to live in a prosperous Jamaica. So we have to change the language. Without development, we're heading for a disaster. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dubai Economic Zone. This is a place that was created in a desert. And we have such a God-given location that we're now using as an obstruction to global trade. I think we better change this position. This is logistics hub of Singapore. Singapore can fit in a Jamaica 15.4 times. Hello? With 2 tiny people. We don't have no reason for saying yes, sir. Why you watch this now, please? How Singapore moved themselves from a provincial port to a global gateway.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ports in the world, and Dubai's Jebel Ali was not too long ago nothing but a sandy desert along the shallow waters of the Gulf. As Dubai rapidly developed, its ruler, Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum, had a vision, a port that would ensure future prosperity for the emirate. In 1976, the first dredger began to eat its way across the sand dunes, and the sea began to flow into the desert. The port of Jebel Ali was born. Captain Hassan Al-Suwadi has worked here for nearly 30 years, witnessing its transformation from provincial port to global gateway.
This was in the middle of the desert, or you can say a few kilometers away from the beach with the sand. So it's amazing.
What are the biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges is now, as the industry, the vessels becoming bigger and bigger. So we have to cope for these large vessels, huge vessels. We are talking about vessels of around 400 meters.
Bigger ships bring in bigger profits, and Jebel Ali currently fuels 20% of Dubai's GDP. The port, which could handle 70 to 80 ships when it was first built, can now receive 16,000 vessels a year and counting.
The work's going on behind me of the expansion of Terminal 2. Now, just like most of Jebel Ali, as far as the eye can see here, this land has been reclaimed. And when this is finished, it will be able to simultaneously handle 6 mega vessels.
The brand new $850 million Terminal 3 is also starting to emerge. For Jebel Ali, the sky, or in this case the sea, is no limit. How much more can you grow?
Well, this is the far biggest in the region. If you take it from Europe, Rotterdam to Singapore, really. But listen, we can build more islands, we can go up to 50 million containers capacity if we want. By far, a dream which is really, right now, doesn't exist anywhere.
dream that for Hassan is well on its way to becoming reality.
The faster we're going, the more Dubai as a whole will become like a piece of art within the Middle East, and maybe worldwide also. So that gives me a great
sense of pride.
Yes.
All right. This was created in the desert. And God has given us such a beautiful geographic location. And we're here wasting it and talking it out. Not true? But nothing new, no, ladies and gentlemen. Development comes with change and fear of the unknown. When they were building a national stadium, many people said, no, mash up the environment. If we never damaged it, look what happened. Would we have the Shellyan and the Usain Bolts today? You said to build the Panama Canal, they had to flood out the Panamanian mountain. Can you picture that? Just picture Blue Mountain foot. They have to flood out Blue Mountain foot 50 feet of water. Can you picture that? No whole heap of damage to the environment that. It was a conscious damage, yes. You have to do it like that too. You ever build a house and then chop down one tree? All this I road, Billy. You understand, ladies and gentlemen? So, but it's a conscious effort where we can, you see what they did in London? They moved the animal them, and recreate a space. And now clean up the waters of the Thames. It's now much cleaner and the condition better. So development and environment can take place in the same thing. Let's move on. I put this for slide. Air cargo hub in Memphis.
At the FedEx Memphis World Hub, the amount of people and equipment and packages that come together is simply phenomenal.
I pull up.
Memphis, it is the largest cargo airport in the world due to FedEx's inbound and outbound poundage. Just to drive from one end to the other, Memphis World Hub complex takes about 20 minutes. So it's very large, well over 550 acres, about 179 jet aircraft gates. FedEx has the largest air cargo fleet in the world. We've got about 15 million square feet of sort space.
Let's go!
It is hard to get a grasp on the magnitude of what we do every night. There are 7,500 associates that work for the night sort, 3,500 associates for the day sort, and about 3,000 support personnel. And about 2.2 million packages a day come through the Memphis World Hub. When a package arrives at the Memphis Hub and is placed on a conveyor belt, that package is then scanned and measured by a light curtain. When the package is scanned, it will tell us tons of information. Who shipped the package? How much does the package weigh? What's the destination of the package? After that scanned package leaves the primary matrix, it'll be sorted at least 2 more times before it makes its way into an outbound container and transported to the outbound airplane for departure. I think when this company started years ago, nobody had in mind the concept would be where it is today. And it's simply mind-boggling. It's exciting every night. I mean, what's in these packages, it could be life-saving medicine for a patient. It could be a bride's wedding dress that she's anxiously awaiting. It could be somebody's mortgage payment so they don't lose their home. We've got to take care of all those customers. And we do. We do a great job.
Sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, you get the picture of an air cargo hub. We couldn't fit this in the existing airports we now have. Even though the runways are too short to accommodate the world's largest aircraft. I want you to picture the scale. Can you picture this one Memphis air hub employing over 12,000 people? Don't you see jobs there for a lot of people? We need this type of development, don't we? There's a paradigm shift, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking now about a supply chain. Not the airport, now one can come and talk to the seaport and then mix with each other. Everybody holding hand in a chain. But the hardest part of it is for us to change our mindset. You understand? That cheese. Sorry, I'm going to ask us to dim the light now. I want you to watch this carefully. Who moved my cheese? And fit yourself in the story. Some little creature. And kind of look like Clive, but watch it anyway. That cheese way.
out, let's find it. Get something better and scurry along.
Gonna get me some of that new cheese. Gonna get something better. Well, Val, who moved my cheese? Where is it? Who moved my cheese? Why is it gone?
Gonna get some.
Who moved my cheese? Where is it? Who moved my cheese? Why has it gone?
Once long ago, in a land far away, there were 4 little characters that lived in a maze.
2 were mice named Sniff and Scurry.
And 2 were little people, the size of mice. Their names were Hem and Haw.
As different as the mice and little people were, they shared one thing in common. Each morning, they put on their running shoes and raced into the maze to look for their favorite cheese. Cheese being whatever was most important to them, what nourished them and made them happy.
For Sniff and Scurry, cheese was just cheese. But for Hem and Haw, cheese was more than just having something to eat. Finding it was a way of getting what they thought they needed. To them, cheese represented having security, or good health, or material things, or whatever they believed would make them happy.
For Haw, cheese meant living in a beautiful cottage with a loving family on Cheddar Lane.
To Hem, cheese meant being a big cheese, owning a mansion atop Camembert Hill. Sniff and Scurry had good instincts. Sniff would smell out the general direction of the cheese, and Scurry would race ahead.
But Hem and Haw had complex brains with beliefs and emotions that made finding their way in the maze more complicated and challenging. Rather than trusting their instincts, they relied on guidebooks and maps to help find their way in the maze.
In their own way, all 4 characters discovered what they were looking for. Eventually, each one arrived at Cheese Station C and discovered their own special cheese.
Sniff and Scurry woke early every day and ran the same route through the maze to Cheese Station C.
However, Hem and Haw woke later each day and strolled slowly over to Cheese Station C. After all, they knew where the cheese was and how to get there, and they assumed it would always be there.
This is fabulous. I'm so happy. There's enough cheese here to last us forever.
Hem and Haw put away their running shoes, thinking they wouldn't need them anymore.
They felt very secure in their familiar surroundings. Haw even decorated the walls with sayings.
Having cheese makes you happy.
Hem and Haw became very comfortable in Cheese Station C. They were not paying attention to what was happening around them.
Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry inspected the area each morning. They noticed the changes that were taking place. They kept their running shoes around their necks so they could get to them quickly whenever they needed them again.
One morning, Sniff and Scurry arrived at Cheese Station C and discovered there was no cheese. They were not caught by surprise, since they noticed the supply of cheese had been getting older and smaller. The mice did not overanalyze or complicate things. The situation had changed, so Sniff and Scurry changed. They were soon off in search of new cheese.
Later that day, Hem and Haw arrive and are startled at the sight of an empty Cheese Station C.
What? No cheese? Who moved my cheese? It's not fair.
What'll happen if the cheese isn't here tomorrow? All my plans are based on the cheese being here.
Hem's and Haw's behavior was not very attractive and kept them from succeeding, but it was understandable. Finding cheese wasn't easy, and it meant a great deal more to them than just having enough of it to eat every day.
While Sniff and Scurry had changed, Hem and Haw continued to, well, Hem and Haw.
Hem? Where's Sniff and Scurry? Do you think they know something we don't?
Nah, they're just simple mice. We're little people. We're more complex and smarter. We're entitled to our cheese.
We don't seem to be acting smarter at the moment. Sniff and Scurry are probably in the maze looking for new cheese. Maybe we should simply get going and look for some new cheese too.
No, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I want things to be just the way they were.
Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry moved further into the maze. They didn't think of anything else but finding new cheese.
After looking in parts of the maze where they had never been before, Snip and Scurry found the biggest store of cheese they had ever seen.
Meanwhile, Hem and Haw were still trying to figure out what was happening.
Then Haw began to imagine himself out in the maze, finding fresh new cheese. Before long, he could almost taste it.
Come on, Hem, let's go. We've got to change and enjoy something better.
No way. It might be dangerous out there in the maze. I like it here. I'm comfortable. You'll see. Someday things will be just the way they were.
Like Hem, Haw focused on what he was losing. His vision of finding new cheese and gaining something better faded.
So every day, Hem and Haw went from their homes to cheeseless Station C and returned home again with empty bellies, full of nothing but stress. They tried to deny the change that had happened, but found it more and more difficult. Their homes were not the nurturing places they once were.
You know, if we just try harder, maybe we'll discover the cheese is still here.
So Hem and Haw worked longer hours, but still they did not find their cheese. Haw was beginning to realize how hard they were working without success.
Then Haw lived up to his name.
Look at us.
What are you laughing at? They moved our cheese and you think this is funny?
Oh, Hem, we keep doing the same things over and over again, and we wonder why things don't get better. Now that's funny.
Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese?
Hem, it's time for us to find something better.
You're not really going out into the maze again, are you? Why don't we just wait here until they put the cheese back?
They're never going to put the cheese back. That was yesterday's cheese. It's time for us to find some new cheese. Now, where did we put our running shoes?
What if there's no cheese out there? Or what if you can't find it? Or
well, I don't know, Hem. But imagine how much we would enjoy some new cheese.
No, I don't want to go into the maze.
Well, I don't either. But let's face it. If we don't change, we could become extinct.
Extinct? Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese?
Then Haw wrote on the wall what he had been thinking about for some time.
What would you do if you weren't afraid? It's maze time. Time for new cheese.
Then Haw jogged into the unknown. He soon realized the unexpected can happen.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Haw picked himself up and got back on course.
Being back in the maze isn't nearly as bad as I feared. How did I get into that situation at Cheese Station C? I should have followed my instincts and changed a lot sooner. If I'd been watching what was happening... Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. Why do I feel so good? I don't have any cheese, and I don't know where it is. When you stop being afraid, you feel good.
I feel so good, so very good.
I'm not afraid anymore.
The more clearly Haw imagined himself finding new cheese and enjoying it, the more real it became, in his mind and his heart, and the more it made good sense to him.
Imagining myself enjoying my new cheese even before I find it leads me to it.
Finally, Haw arrived at large Cheese Station E. but he found it was practically empty.
No matter how hard I try, I guess I'm just too late. If only I had changed sooner, I'd have found a lot of new cheese here.
Ha did find several delicious morsels of cheese. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep him going.
I've got to go back to him and let him know there's some new cheese out here.
Ha followed his handwriting on the wall, back to Cheese Station C.
Oh, Ham, you look terrible. Here, have a few bits of new cheese I found in the maze.
No, I don't think I would like new cheese. I want my own cheese back. I want things to be the way they were.
It's safer to search in the maze, Ham, than remain in a cheeseless situation.
Ha now knew that his friend Ham's negative thoughts robbed him of his confidence. Ha remembered how good he felt when he was away from such thinking while searching for new cheese in the maze.
Will he ever change? I guess Ham believes he can't or won't enjoy new cheese.
Ha had changed his own beliefs. He knew that change wasn't always good or necessary. Ha used to believe that his cheese should never be moved, and that sudden change wasn't right. Now he realized that most change didn't happen all of a sudden, and that it could lead to something better. He now knew it was good to go into the maze to find new cheese.
When you change what you believe, you change what you do.
Ha found bits of cheese here and there. He hoped that Hem might see the need for change and find his way through the maze by reading the handwriting on the wall and follow the markings Ha left for him. He kept hoping his good friend would change.
Now Ha had let go of the past and was adapting to the present. He was pursuing his sensible vision, seeing himself finding new cheese. And then, one day it happened.
Piled high everywhere was the largest and most delicious-looking supply of new cheese Ha had ever imagined.
Wow! New cheese! Is it real or just my imagination? Hey, it is real! New cheese was out here all the time, just waiting for somebody to find it.
As Ha enjoyed his new cheese, he reflected on what he had learned from his journey through the maze. He wrote on the wall of Cheese Station N,
"Change happens. They keep moving the cheese. Anticipate change. Get ready for the cheese to move. Monitor change. Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. Adapt to change quickly. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you can enjoy new cheese. Enjoy change. Savor the adventure and enjoy the taste of new cheese. Be ready to quickly change and enjoy it again. They keep moving the cheese. Change and win. Move with the cheese." I wonder if Ham will ever read the handwriting on the wall. Will he ever change and win?
Ha knew it would be easy for him to slip back to his old ways if he got too comfortable. So each day he inspected Cheese Station N to check the condition of his cheese. He went out into the maze and explored new areas. He knew it was smarter to be aware of what was going on around him rather than to isolate himself in his comfort zone. Then Ha heard a sound of movement out in the maze. Could it be him? Ha hoped, as he had many times before, that his friend was finally able to
move to the new cheese and enjoy it.
Right.
Or is it a new beginning?
So, ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. Can you put yourself in these characters? Sometimes fear of the unknown keep us at Cheeseless Station C, right? And it's exactly what is happening to our country right now. We cannot remain in this position. And I'm just going to show you a clip. Ladies and gentlemen, just to encourage us that failure is not a destination, it is a part of success. I'm going to show you a true story. In 1992, in the Barcelona Olympics, this athlete was favored to win the 400 meters race and lost, but he ended up winning his own race. Watch this. Can you dim the lights for me, please? Up with the volume. Some volume, please.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more
Ladies and gentlemen, it's about finishing our race. Many times we meet upon obstacles we just can't bother. The future is about holding on to God. Let me just say, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most touching experiences I've ever had, and I've shared it at Life's Company, was one day fishing and saw an eagle. And this great bird, how it caught the fish, but it's just the majestic position of this bird. And it's, in life, it's not how hard we work, it's how smart we work. And how this bird uses its time in a different way to catch the fish, pull the fish in a position in the direction of its flight, not to waste energy. Unlike other birds flapping their wings about the riverbank, this bird uses the wind current to glide. This is a great bird that flies into storms, while chickens run to roost when storms are coming. How about us embracing storms as an opportunity to soar like eagles? Ladies and gentlemen, it's still one of the most memorable experiences in my life. Encountering one of these birds right in the Black River one morning. Seeing the bird stretching its wings from wingtip to wingtip about 16 feet across. Can you picture that? Turned like a 747 aircraft. Flying ahead of a fish I couldn't catch and went down in the water. Came up with the fish, dropped the fish in mid-flight and went off with about this 3 feet long fish. A bird. I learned so much from that experience. My greatest takeaway, ladies and gentlemen, life is about timing and positioning. What are we doing now? Are we sitting down and wasting our times? There are things that we can do to prepare ourselves for the future. Yeah, man, I'll cut up the rest and finish. Wow, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is quite an interesting one, but we'll skip over it. Sorry, because seems not plain. Let's move on. All right, what is a supply chain? Let's get some lights. The global supply chain is a network of trading partners, and logistics is the glue that holds them together. As I said to you, the logistics hub is not a place, a concept of development that we can participate in. I'm just going to skip over some of these. This is what we look like right now. Uptown, we're in a boat quite relaxed. Downtown, we're bailing water. And people are saying, I'm glad the hole is not on our side. But you know what? We're all in a boat going down together. So we can't live like this anymore. Right, I'm going to skip over these, ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time. And I encourage you to go to Grace Kennedy website. Those of you who want. You look for the 2014 lecture series. I present a lecture along with Dr. Ajaguna. And you can, a book there is free, From Piracy to Transshipment, Jamaica's Journey to Becoming a Global Logistics Hub. You can download the book, you can print it, it's free. Go and read it to give you a lot of background information. Let me just skip over these quickly, ladies and gentlemen, just to go towards the end. What is the future? What does the future look like? Ladies and gentlemen, the future is about avoiding waste. Logistics is about keeping things to the minimum. Anything above the minimum is waste. So it's not storing more goods, but is how you, when you keep goods, you're supposed to change the form in logistics, add some value to it. right? Nobody wants to ship their goods to come here to store. But you can hold it and add value to it. That is the process of logistics. There are 7 types of waste. Overproduction, wait time, and it go through motion defects. Do it right the first time. All of these are waste. The future is about mega cities, ladies and gentlemen. How do we live in cities? And about the mobile. Social networking have changed the way. So no longer 90-year-old people that are social network now, you know. It's a new form. You heard that what? Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. Could that pay off Jamaica national debt? So social networking have changed the world. I tell you the story of, I met this young lady on a flight some months ago, and she gave me a business card. Her title was Senior Vice President, Chief Listening Officer. Anybody here go to school, go study for Chief Listening Officer? I never know it, so I asked her, I say, excuse me, ma'am, what do you do? Do you fast in people's business? She said, no, so my job is to monitor the social networks and see what people are saying about the company. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about social network. Every minute of the day, over 2 million searches on Google, over 47,000 app download, and over 48 hours of YouTube upload. So, it's a way of doing business. It takes an average 90 minutes to answer email, but 90 seconds a text message. There's no future in any jobs, ladies and gentlemen. The future lie in the people holding the job. I'm going to sum up this section with 2 little stories I tell you. My previous job, I was employing someone to be a customer service rep. So when I put out the ad, a whole bunch of people apply. So, while skipping through, I saw this interesting CV. This person who work at 2 major funeral homes. I said, why would this person be applying for a job as a customer service rep? So, quite interested, I put her in a lot to be interviewed. When she came, the lady was so outstanding. I said to her, how do you explain to me your transitioning from a funeral home to come to a shipping company? She said, it's about customer service. Whether you serve the living or the dead, they need to get good customer service. I just quickly say this one, ladies and gentlemen. I have a neighbor, you see. My neighbor, very qualified, and whole heap of degree. My neighbor have, him one about 7 degrees. Whole heap of professional qualification. What even my neighbor came home when he came over the house and called me and said, look at this man, I'm so upset. Can you imagine? I was at work today and they tried to give me something to do that is not on my job description. So I take out the job description and throw it down and show it to me and say, see it here, look at it. Can you picture this? When I look on the job description, it's yellow. Long time have it. So I said to him what I did. He said, I just went to my union, straighten them out. So about 2 months after, I said, what happened? Boy, they let me go, you know. I said, I must keep a job description because job redundant. So, next 2 months or so, I saw him and I said, oh, thing, boy, not good, you know. So I called up this friend of mine who was interviewing for a manager. So I said, I have this neighbor, can you give an interview? I know he's qualified, I can speak about his competence. So when I saw my friend in the evening, I said, how was the interview? Good, man. Good, good. I said, what happened? I said, well, when I go in interview, you know, let me start talking. I just get up and I say, shut up, and I said, go. So I said, what happened after that? He said, everybody quiet. So I said, what happened? They don't ask me no more questions. So I said, what them say? They'll call me. So ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing is our attitude. Attitude. No matter how much surf ticket you have, hey, no want it. Your attitude. 70% of our employers are looking for not on your certificate. So you see, you present yourself when you come to the people in place and look. Look for you and say, thank you, sir, please. Here's the door. We'll call you, don't call us. You understand? Ladies and gentlemen, our attitude. Right? We all want the government to give you a guaranteed success story. Boy, that's something that's too complicated, yeah? But life is about critical thinking. I want to show you a quick video clip on critical thinking. 60% of the best jobs in the next 10 years have not yet been invented. What does this mean? Hello? It's not about jobs, it's about skill sets. And a lot of things you do, the skill sets can go somewhere, it's go do something else. Right? You remember the woman from the funeral home? Good customer service. She even smiled with the dead so she could smile with the living. Hello? All right. You used to have some job first time, one of the elevator operator. The job gone, man never just joke on about now elevator. You remember long distance operator? Are you operator? Oh no, right? I'm a long distance operator, Mr. Nalty. Yes, man. Long distance operator. Yes, Mr. Nalty. You used to do long distance operating. You're there far tonight. Right. So a long distance operator, say, are you an operator? Oh no, I'm a long distance, those I work with foreign, not true. Aha. Radio actor, people can just tell you story like a dulcimina. Them job are gone, but it's what the skill set them relevant same way. Not true. Add something more to it now and pretty it up. Put a bow on it and go smile and go. You can go do other things. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let us move quickly now.
Welcome to another video from explainingthefuture.com. Today, some people have jobs such as web designer that would have been difficult to even explain to people 20 years ago. In this video, I therefore thought I'd present my top 10 of potential new future jobs. At 10, we have in-store 3D fabricator, or somebody who uses 3D printers to copy and manufacture things in retail locations on demand. At 9, we next have domestic robotician, or somebody who supplies and maintains robots that can help out in the home. Talking of which, at 8, we have AI trainer, or somebody who helps young artificial intelligences to understand the world and to become sentient. Turning to things medical, at 7 we have transhumanist surgeon, or a doctor who upgrades people's bodies to give them beyond human capabilities. Closely related at 6, we then have nanobot immune system augmenter, or somebody who cures disease or otherwise improves people's health by introducing nanobots into their bloodstream. In a similar vein, at 5 comes human DNA programmer, or somebody who cures disease or otherwise alters the human body by reprogramming a patient's DNA. As a final medical entry, at 4 we then have cosmetic bioprinter, or somebody who makes people look younger or otherwise changes their appearance by removing existing flesh and bioprinting on new skin. Turning to future food production, at 3 we have vertical farmer, or somebody who raises crops and rears animals in skyscrapers in the middle of cities. Rising to 2, our penultimate entry is space elevator attendant, or somebody who ferries people and cargo into space in a lift carriage that climbs a very long cable to an orbital platform. And finally at 1, we have climate engineer, or somebody who uses geoengineering to control global warming by constructing solar sails to shade the Earth, building greenhouse gas filtration plants, or introducing algae into the oceans.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the world has changed from elevator attendant to space elevator attendant. Some of these jobs look far-fetched, but they are not. Space tourism is now a reality. Vertical farming is now taking place in Dubai and in Singapore. So let's open our minds to new skill sets.
The Critical Thinking video series from procon.org. Critical Thinking Explained. What is critical thinking? And how does it lead to greater citizen involvement? We think critically every single day without even thinking about it. When we buy a tomato, does it look ripe? Does it have any blemishes? Was it grown locally? Is it organic? Is organic food better for me? Or when we decide which movie to see, who directed it? Who are the actors? Is it in 3D? What do my friends say? Do my friends' opinions matter to me? But when it comes to the most important and controversial issues in our society, such as healthcare, illegal immigration, the death penalty, climate change, whom to vote for, and many others, we often find it too difficult or time-consuming to really think critically about them. And that's a big problem for all of us. We face a constant barrage of inaccurate, misleading, and biased news and information which prevents many people from thinking critically and making informed decisions. A critical thinker can begin to clear away the confusion simply by questioning statements and assumptions. Who said that? Is that source reliable? Do you have data supporting that claim? Has that been scientifically proven? Are you qualified to speak on this topic? And do you have a personal stake in the issue? Discussions and debates can promote critical thinking, and that produces more involved citizens. Research has shown that students who regularly take part in class discussions are more likely to vote in later life, follow political news, be interested in the political process, and have confidence in their ability to influence public policy. A survey of more than 1,000 people aged 15 to 25 found that young people who debated issues in class were more likely to sign a written petition, walk, run or ride for charity, and attend a community meeting. Critical thinking. It helps to clear away confusion, encourages citizen involvement, and leads to a stronger democracy. Procon.org.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the future, it's about our skill sets and to let go of the past. Uncertainty is the only thing that we are sure of. If you don't like change, you're going to like irrelevance even less. So, ladies and gentlemen, our whole education system has to be transformed. This is what it looks like now. Here's an examiner looking at the class. The class is so diverse. You have a dog, you have a seal, you have a fish, elephant, penguin, a monkey, and a bird. And the examiner said for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. How are you going to get the fish in the tree? The dog, the seal, the elephant, the penguin. Who was the first in the tree? No, the bird. But guess what? They fail because he fly, he never climb. So it's about how we embrace diversity, how we see the future. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life. Believe it is stupid. These are the words of Albert Einstein. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Watch for the rat traps in life. I put this here for Mr. Nalty. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Fritz. I know its time is going, but we have some questions. There's a question you have there? The first question.
Plug it out.
We're going to open the floor for some questions for the next 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes max. That he's able to, in terms of how do we tap into the changes and what's available.
From live stream.
With the logistic hub for Jamaica.
Live stream question.
Oh, there's a live streams question. Nicaragua is also planning to build a Grand Canal, also with Chinese finance in Hong Kong. Could this affect Jamaica's plan?
All right, very good question. Remember we say about the Panama Canal, that back in 2006, Panama said, boy, they might build the world's biggest canal and it should be good enough to hold them for a while. Before the people start dig them canal, a bigger ship came out. The world has no respect. Globalization has no respect for your investment. That's the first thing. Let's face it, Nicaragua, some Chinese have said that they're going to spend 40 billion US dollar to build a canal in Nicaragua that have no limits. But you know something? It would support Jamaica, because I mean more ships would come this way and be far more efficient, so we still benefit from it. Those are my words for that one.
Thank you. Let me also acknowledge the presence in our midst of Joan and Andrew Hutchinson from the Ministry of Industry and Commerce.
One of our partners,
One of our partners who want to acknowledge your presence. Thanks, Joan.
Thank you, Joan.
Right. Question, there was a question about how can we direct our students in terms of the course of study to maximize the skill sets that is needed right now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to change our thinking. What was good for our granny, not necessarily good for we. Hello? The story is told of this lady. Every Thanksgiving, she and her family would get together and then bake a turkey. But she noticed when her mother cooked the turkey, she has cut off the neck, the wing, the bottom. And she got to her mother and said, why you cut off? She said, child, that's the way they cook turkey. She never take it, critical thinking. She go back and ask 3-4 generations. You know what happened? Her great-great-grandmother oven was too small. Ladies and gentlemen, the legal profession is a good one. But we don't have no place to put so much liar. Hello? Think of your education and your skills like you go to market, go sell. What happens if you go to market with mango and everybody in the market that sell mango that day? What happened to mango? Someone got rotten for you, that means you're unemployed and most of them now go sell, no sir? But if you go to market in a mango season, when you catch 3 nice shine ripe pear, where dry and fit, what happen? Price of pear go up. Watch where you can go to market with skills. Now we basket. Fill up a basket of skills that are emerging, not those that are dying. You understand? And go with a good attitude. So I encourage our students, 70% of the jobs of the future are going to be underpinned by STEM. What do you mean by that? When I talk about something upon 3 is STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we have to change the way we think. I don't like maths and I don't like this. We have to find a new way for to learn it and teach it. You understand? 70% of the jobs. I'm saying to us, they are emerging careers. I know we have some good students here who are at the Caribbean Maritime Institute studying different things. Let's look to different things, ladies and gentlemen. 70% of the people coming out of our lovely universities can't get no work. What you going to do? Like you go to market every day, so go sow some mango and mango down there rotten. And you market and you're going to sell it. Try to get some new products with it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Fritz. The other question is in terms of the Caribbean Maritime Institute. What are some of the job opportunities there? The courses that they do and the potential for earning. The seafarers, engineers, the cruise ship operators, everything.
Come. I'm going to invite, well, you know, Sheridan and Joan Andre, they are 2 of our master's students, masters in logistics and supply chain management. Come tell them something. You come talk, yeah. They might hear me too much. But you know Joan Andre, remember her?
Right. I think every one of us needs to look towards diversification of skill sets, right? When I look at my own resume, you know, I've been doing a certain type of job for most of my life. I have certain training in certain areas. But at this point, I'm doing the Masters in Logistics and Supply Chain Management because, as Dr. Pinnock says, this is the way for the future. And we need to focus on, as he mentioned, STEM training, the science, the technology, the engineering, the mathematics. And what is key, you know, is that we all have to have skills. A lot of us, you know, somebody say, what can you do? And you say, well, we can't do nothing. All of you need to look at the kind of skills that you have. Sometimes it is that you're going to beef up those skills, you're going to strengthen those skills, or you're going to actually learn new skills. But at the end of the day, the liberal arts degrees and the liberal arts trainings, oh yeah, you know, I come out to university and I have a liberal arts degree and thing. But it's not about what I have, it's about what I can do. What can you do with the skills that you have? And with the emerging logistics-centered economy, it's going to be dependent on the skills that you have. And I want to just emphasize what Dr. Pinnock talks about in terms of the attitude. You see, if when you go in for a job interview and them rate you in terms of your academic qualifications, you know, you get 10 out of 10. In terms of your skills, you get 8 out of 10. But your attitude, you get 2 out of 10. Me can guarantee you say you're not going to work. You're not getting the job. But you see, if a guy come in now and them rate him academic qualifications 6 out of 10, and then rate him skills, then maybe even 6 out of 10. But you see, if him attitude is 10 out of 10, my word, he might get that job there over you. So all of us need to look at adjusting the attitude. And you know, all of we inside, don't you know go foreign at some point? All of you know? And we, yeah. But you see, in Jamaica now, like a rain set up, you don't go work. You hear some demonstration there, Montego Bay. Oh, me have to leave work early because demonstration there, Montego Bay. Them kind of things, they have to change. You understand? So all of us need to look at changing. So beefing up the skills, but making sure that the attitude is what it should be in a logistics-centered economy. All right?
Thank you. Give it up for Joan Andrea. All right. Yes, question?
Praise the Lord, everyone.
Praise the Lord.
I have a little jottings here. What really happened for me, I'm embracing the logistics hub based on I know that this will affect the whole entire Jamaica.
Yes.
Small businesses, person who has small businesses, they probably have to get a loan in order probably to expand on their business. It will create jobs and such forth. But my problem is this. I have a little jottings here where these are some key issues. It says that the government of Jamaica and China Harbour Engineering Company have proposed to build a transshipment port at Goat Islands in the Portland Bight protected area. It is one of the largest protected area, 1,876 square feet. And they have 379 species of plants which have been found there. And there's those plants and other species, you can't find them nowhere else in the world. I've seen a presentation where I see where in London they are saving these animals and these plants and such forth. So, can you tell us in a sense to say, boy, yes, this will happen? Because sometime in Jamaica they tell us one thing and down the road is the next thing. And the next thing again too. I have something here. All right, I rest my case here.
No. Well, no, you want me to just answer that and you do the other? Are you going to go with the other one quickly?
Right, one more thing.
Our book you have them, man.
Right. No, I just taking out certain
Strong's Concordance.
All right, for this now, estimated physical impact on port construction and association. What's it associated with? You see where it have habitats of rare and threatened and endangered species, they are lost. You have decline in productivity and fisheries. I know you speak on how we can make fish sanctuaries to sell snapper and XYZ. Also, you have beach erosion, increased runoff and flooding from land, increased vulnerability and natural disaster, and such and such. I rest my case there. So I want you to inform me. I realized I was watching the news some time ago in the highway, a leg of the highway where they built, people have been flooded out. There was no drainage, so what it does, it push off the water and flood out people's houses. So I prefer to have $1 in my pocket to know that my brother doesn't have anywhere to sleep. Amen?
All right. Good concerns. And it's about all of us, and we have to make critical choices. Ladies and gentlemen, I show you London had to make that choice. We too have to make the choice as a country. We have to let go of the past. You remember hem and ha? Hello? Yes. Too much hem and ha. And we hem and ha can't name rockstone. You say they dig and dig? Ladies and gentlemen, you have a good point. The environment is important, right? And I am one of those advocates for the environment. But we have to look bigger. Because if you have a nice garden and you look out your window and you enjoy that garden, but 1,000 people live out on the garden and have nothing to eat, the garden is going to go away. So we have to keep the garden while we give people an opportunity to earn, right? But as you're right, just like I show you in London, we're going to have similar discussions. But tap it tracing and shouting when we are cussing each other, and it's all or nothing. You remember the song? Everybody sing it again? If it's not you, Lord, is nothing at all, not true? So we have to learn in life, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. So I am one of those advocates who want to negotiate for the fisher folk and the environment, but more make sure development happen. So we are going to sit down and we are going to talk, right? And in other words, I expect some millions of dollars to be spent where we can do now, create projects and now create a sustainable environment. I took the Minister of Education down there about, when was it, June? About 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Down to Goat Island. I'm carrying from Kingston. We go by sea. When the Minister went down there, we go on the island and we walk the island. I've been there about at least 90 times already, you know. So when you read something and you read about the place, it's pretty not true. Go down and go look at different story, half night mash up already, master. When you go down there, hold the tree, them chop down already and make coal. As you want to hold a soldier crab down there. Right? You had things down there. But Joan went down there, she can't tell you to share in her class. You went to share that? Maybe she make you can't tell them in a little way you go see. Right? But it's important. But when the minister decides, I'm going to take a little sea bath, the minister go there, in the water, I smell it. Maybe I must hold my nose and I swim. The water stink, you know why? All effluent come from the port already over there. So. Because you have some big companies, I'm not call their name, go look it up for yourself. They might like a whole heap of dirty things in the water. The water stink, and when you go down there, no fishermen are down there because the fish don't know it. So what I'm saying is an opportunity for us to make this better, like what London Gateway had to do. You see? You can create a proper fish sanctuary and fish park. We can now create an economic part out of it where people can eat food, and we can now have development. I think it's better we have all three than none at all. So, but what I'm saying, citizens have to join the thing where we join in a responsible way. When we have a town hall meeting, we go and we do research and we monitor. You have two types of environmentalists, you know. Some will make money off of the environment, off of them business. And some like me and you will have to live with the environment. You understand? So, you have a lot of people who make money from this, you know. You know how much money they collect already. You go down there, I go down there with Joan. Joan, I go look at one woman sheet to put up for make a show or something. And the people tell us that them don't want to see some of them down there. Why? Because when the development are going, they're not there. But you make international money there anyway, then run back a hit. Camera, money. Money are come. Give me the money if you protect the environment. Millions went into their hands. Where is it to show? I want to see it in a sustainable way, and I want to join that code like you, so I invite you to make me be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Just let me get it. How many questions do you have? You have a question? You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Good night. Good night. Mr. Pinnock.
Wait. You can adjust it. All right. So we have, let me just make sure with numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that's it. We're going to take the 4 and then we're going to have close. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good night. Just get some clarity. Are you talking about the hub as a port? The idea now, is it a transshipment hub or is it a transshipment port? Because I said the port is...
A global gateway.
Okay, so
that's what we need now. A transshipment port can't take us where we need to go. Okay. But we also need a transshipment port, but we need a global gateway.
Okay, so
we need two of them.
You guys need to sell that idea more to the general public.
Huh?
You guys need to sell that idea more to the general public. Because I'm one for the environment, but if economy jumps, I mean, lizard or snake or whatever, I mean, go for the economy, people can better themselves.
We have to do two of them together. Environment important.
It's a balanced approach.
Yes, right. Balanced approach.
That's all about the balance. Go ahead.
Good night, sir. What I wanted to know, firstly, what is the projected year for this to take place?
All right. It's not an event. We're not in the process already. It's a process like a transition. We already have a transshipment port. We are moving along, but we are moving slowly now. A global gateway project like the Goat Island project, 1.5 billion US can be the explosion. We start everything kickstart. Because if that comes, and we have a 6,000 acres of development happening in there, you have that major company coming to put together the assembly, the cranes, you have other companies coming, that can spawn off 10,000 jobs, can now provide a trigger for other economic zones across Jamaica to happen. So it's a process. Are we in the game, but it's going to be very slow until I think at least another 2 years or so.
So is that in the plan already, or you're just talking of what could possibly happen?
Well, it's in the plan, you know. It's in the plan. It's in the plan. But you see, it's a process. And whereas in the past, we used to, a little project that take place, we build a supermarket, a man dig ground and tell us the supermarket that go open in such and such. A logistics hub is a concept of development, not a place. So we can say, yes, we know it now. It's going to happen. You understand? It's a process which have started. And we know have to get on board to support it. The legislative system of Jamaica change. We're going to need a new type of outlook. Whole power for that we all steel cheese done per way. Including our leaders have to change also the mindset. It's a change for all of us, you know. And then people are going to change and make us all right. A whole way are going to change. So it's a process, darling. It's a process.
As it relates to the Goat Island, the PBPA, the Portland by Protected Area, the act, do you guys have the authority?
You guys?
Does the government really have the authority to just go ahead and do what they may with the Goat Islands without conferring with the persons who actually put the act in place? Is that possible? Should that even happen?
Well, put it this way. What you have to do, you see, and this is where, just like England, they had to go to a more protected site than we. You didn't talk about the rare-crested mutants or something. It's the only thing they have there. They now have to dredge 100 kilometers of the River Thames. They had to make a conscious decision to stay dead as London and to get back into the game. So they got together with their environmental story was different, you know. Everybody end up, but they had quarrels too, you know, but everybody end up working together for the betterment of their country.
Yeah, well, sir, I understand that, right? But I was talking to Ingrid Parchman, the CCAM director, and she was saying that the whole Portland by Protected Area, you guys, the government, going ahead and, you know, saying that that is a prospect, that's a prospect that they're going to use for the whole idea of the logistics hub. It was a plan that was just, it wasn't, they didn't meet and like have discussions about it and all of that. So that's why I'm asking you if they can still go ahead and do it as much as they're the government, they're not the persons in charge of, I don't want to say in charge, you know, but I'm saying that they didn't put that in place. So how is it then possible for them to just go ahead and do it?
They didn't put it in place. Boy, you ask a tough question. Let me ask you something. Goat Island is less than 3% of the Portland Bight area. You can have development within. Right now, a 60,000-ton port is already approved for Portland Bight. And where were those people when that approval was given? They wasn't there, you know. You go down there and go talk to them people and live down there and tell a different story. They want to run out the sea camp people them down there. You know why? When they go down there, man tell us how much millions they collect. Where the money there? Administration, where you call so. I'm not saying that, you know, but we have to be more responsible with our approach. They should have used that money to do some studies. When these people come back and present an up-to-date study and say, this is what we have. All that happened, you know, was some members of the government were in China and somebody make an announcement that they have an interest. All of a sudden, the story starts. The people never present no proposal yet, you know. Last year I went on I was on a program with Simon Croskill at CVM. Simon come, yes, Fritz, can you give us the comments on the Goat Island? I say, show me the plan, Simon, and me comment, Penny. Sometimes, as I say, last week, the paper pick it up, analysis or paralysis. In this country, we used to a situation, we just want to hear sitting everybody to an expert. And we can tell you we kill it before it starts. We say why it is so dangerous I can't move from this cheeseless station. The two have to take place together. Right? The two have to take. And it's high time, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm saying to us, we are in an unsustainable situation in the country. The country bankrupt, you know. You understand this? You have a bankrupt and you sit down and I say, what me going to do? How me get powder, me trust sitting? The people I'm tired of we know. If we don't find our own way, the whole of we dead under the water or so. And me no plan to go dead there now with it. So, make we try to come out of it.
All right, good night, sir. Yes. More of a comment than a question.
Yes.
A couple of comments, as a matter of fact.
You have your pill, though.
Right. Funny you should mention us drowning underwater. Well, we are noticing trends in climate change, and they are very detrimental, especially for island states. When it comes to heat rise, temperature rise, and rise in sea level, right? So first of all, are there measures in place to make sure that the Portland Bight, which is going to be leveled, the Goat Island, which are going to be leveled, will
Not
be
level, no go so.
Well, plans were mentioned that to have Great Goat Island and Little Goat Island join.
I don't level that.
Well,
you join by a bridge.
It is not flat. Neither of the islands are flat. And so in order for you to have a port or transshipment area there.
How tall is Goat Island? How much about sea level? Have you been there?
I can't tell you.
Have you been there?
I can't tell you, but it's not a plane.
Have you been there?
It's not a plateau either.
I will suggest, I will suggest to all of us, let's get the facts.
It's a plane. No matter about it, about level, people come with some words.
From the emotion.
Not emotion.
Oh, wait a second. Guys, take our heads out of the sand.
Yeah.
Part of our problem, we're not exposed. Their technology, these guys are, I had the privilege to be in Panama. Panama Canal, over 100 years ago that was built. 100 years, the technology that was used to, even they talk about the locks going up. And we saw the ships, myself and Fritz was there. 100 and how much years ago when they did that? Most of us said, boy, this is impossible. The skill set and the competency exists in this world. So what we're worrying about, we're wasting time. We are wasting time on focus on the minutia. Stop major in the minor and maximize the maximum.
I don't want to be misconstrued.
The problem is, and I'm speaking as a businessman, Jamaica wasting time and the country. Do you know how far advanced Cuba is? Do you know the Chinese are actually building ports in Cuba right now?
They're all over the Caribbean, you know.
Do you know the Chinese are all over the place, far advanced, and we are here in Jamaica wasting time about some simplicity instead of trying to find a balanced approach? That's why we are not reaching anywhere.
China Harbour.
You want to say we're wasting our time?
Mr. Forbes, Sir Clive, China Harbour have more investment from Argentina up to Canada through the Caribbean than our national debt. China Harbour alone. United States have 300 million people. That's just the number of people in a primary school at China. We have to face it, you know. One of the things to accept is that it's a new world power. Get with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to be misconstrued. I'm not against the
How much do you know about the Falmouth Pier? The Falmouth Pier. You know about the Falmouth Pier, the reef? Yeah. How much do you know about the Falmouth Pier? The cruise pier. You know what they did to build that pier? You know that they had the technology to actually preserve and to save the reef? You don't know that, right?
Well,
Simplicity, yeah. So point I'm saying, we are wasting time thinking that we don't have the competency and the technology and the skill set for these guys to do it.
I don't believe we don't have it. The technology is there. There's no technology of the future. It's all here already. I believe that.
So
right?
what is it?
That concern was as to whether it has been factored in and how well
guys,
it has been.
The process just started.
Because I believe in the port, in the gateway.
Yeah.
Right.
But you want to know if it was factored in for the climate change and so on. It has to be a part of it. And ladies and gentlemen, let's face it. You're going to spend $1.5 billion and you bill it on paper. Let me say this, and Sir Clive made a good point. A lot of us don't know, you know, we tend to cost everything, you know. NEPA supervised a project, the Falmouth Cruise Ship Pier. It was the largest seagrass replanting project in the world. And it was successful right down at Falmouth, there, sir. That happened in Jamaica. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's face it. It can be done. China Harbour built projects 20 kilometers out, and I see them build a port, you know. And they go through a cyclone and everything, and tsunami. Technology have helped you so much. When Panama had to give up, blast up the mountain to create the third lock, and that them do, you know. You think they must walk on a path, like a whole heap of damage they had to do. But it was planned. And you know what happened? It takes 200 million liters of fresh water to put one ship through the canal. So when Panama don't have rain for 5 days, they have drought. So they recreated a new era rainforest, and they depend upon it. And the new era of rainforest that they create is giving them more rainfall than the old one. The help of technology.
Right,
so technology can help you.
Yes. To finish the question now. You mentioned about the investments that China has on this side of the world, right? So and we mentioned Panama, China, Honduras, Nicaragua, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and perhaps the Bahamas as well. Everybody wants a bite of it. And a lot of people are already further ahead of us. What advantage do we have over them to make it so profitable for us that they won't have?
We know an advantage, you know. You want me to tell you the honest truth? It take the Chinese to invest in Jamaica. Most investors gone left way. We chat too much. And that's how we produce. You know, so every 40 years we have the lowest growth rate in the world. I'm talking in the world are hated above we, you know. We even create some new words because we don't like to tell people that we're not growing. We call it negative growth. One name so, I decline, we decline. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't go down no more in the bottom of the barrel. So we don't have a powder up ourselves with people borrowed money. We can't continue so no more. Too much pride that this country have to put it down and let go. I realize we have to start from the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, a Chinese money a build a bridge in the United States. A US money we think how come here? A Chinese or Arab money build London Gateway. After the money you want to come here? Let's face it, we better get used to it. It's now the era of the Chinese. Work with them. But ladies and gentlemen, part of it is a perception, you know, and a misconception. But let me say something to us. And their model have a lot to look into it, you know. You look on the economy, they have a swings that we have, you know. The IDB was doing a presentation there. I said to them, you did a study on the North-South Highway for Jamaica and tell us that it's not feasible, it can't be done. Because Jamaica need 1.2 million more people to be living in that corridor, 800,000 more vehicles. I was talking to a Chinese professor, the man laughing, look for me. In China, we don't do feasibility study to see if things feasible. We make it feasible. So the Chinese are laughing, take for the money and do the project. You know why? They must show us it can work. What them do along the corridors, you create some hotels and things will drive traffic to the highway. So ladies and gentlemen, let's face it, because when we plan in the Western, we plan without people. If first cut, we cut our people. And people who make the difference, not the equipment. And then that's why we have economy that must swing up and down. You look on China, they might go up. Them still make money, and then see the West go down, and come and lend the money if you go buy back for them goods. But a better terms than we get from the other part of the West, you know. Because West come and lend you and say, give it back. We spend it for you. But you have to pay back your debt. The Chinese will come and give you. You understand? Let's not face it. Let's not lose it. China never forget. When the one China policy, Jamaica was one of the first countries to support them. So they are very loyal people. Despite where we cost them and do them. And you know something, ladies and gentlemen, we have to change the mindset because a lot of it is propaganda. The Chinese are still one of the only nations that have not go and invade another nation. Go and research that, you see. Go and research that. They are peaceful people. You go and quarrel with them, then back off and left you. Right? But they look long term. Yeah. People are important.
What's the last question? Because the time is far spent. Go ahead.
Thank you, Clive Forbes. I thank God I was here because I've learned so much things I didn't know and, you know, were foreign to me. So, Dr. Fritz Pinnock, I think you did an excellent job and in a time like this. Now, much of what I learned, you know, I pick up a lot of nuggets and I like that story with the cheese, you know. I want to be like Sniff and Scurry. You know, I want to go with the times. Now, I see where you spoke about like finger ports, transshipment ports, and global gateway. Finger port, like 100 years ago, and transshipment port, we're moving from that now 100 years later. Like we thinking to move away from that. Other developed countries definitely have moved away from that. Now, I remember like recently, was it 5-6 years ago? I've seen, you know, the expansion of what we have at a transshipment port, where they made the 6-lane highway to get more land for the wharf. Right? Is that correct? Right. So I'm saying we have just finished that like 5-6 years ago. You know, this is the big thing for Jamaica. And 2 years after, 2010, Jamaica is focusing on global gateway exploits, hence the the Goat Island, debate. I'm looking at life, the life of these concepts. Finger concept is long gone. 100 years later, after finger port concept is gone, we were just expanding our transshipment port. So looking at the life of what we're going into, and I'm thinking, even if it's going to serve globally for a long while, Jamaica should make a move now and don't wait until it's going out. What's the projected life of the global gateway?
So what's the question?
What's the projected life of the global gateway in your estimation?
Sorry, what's the projected life of the proposed global gateway? All right.
Right.
We have to wrap up. Thanks.
All right. Very good question.
Finally, Clive, how do you compare Jamaica? Just a follow-up. How do you compare Jamaica with other third world and Caribbean countries as they exploit this global gateway prospect?
All right.
Where are they compared to us?
Well, he was kind of late for the presentation, but we went through that.
All right.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what's the expected life? Just think of the Panama Canal. Remember, people are not opening canal yet and they're redundant already, Remember, canal going to open in 2015, right? And they make ship bigger than it already, and 21,000 TU ship up on the drawing board. Remember I said to you, globalization has no respect for investment. It's about the boundaries have now been redefined. Things are changing much faster. What took us 100 years to reach where we are can be done now in a matter of years. A global gateway concept, we don't know where that will go next. And you raise a good question. You have to remain nimble when in a global environment. Like a sniff and scurry, keep your running shoes and keep smelling the cheese. It's time for new cheese.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Fritz. Could I just ask you to all stand now? We just want to give God thanks for what we have learned and what we have been exposed to tonight. I just want to give God thanks. And the forms that were filled out, I know some persons had to leave. We're just going to close in prayer, and then afterwards, Fritz and the ministers, and Andrew, they usher you upstairs to the first floor, right? So could you just bow your heads, please?
Lord, we just want to give you thanks for your goodness and for your mercies, God, that have extended unto us. I want to thank you for this ingathering and discussion. Lord God, our future. We know that, God, you hold the future and life is worthwhile living because you are in control. We ask that, Lord, what we have learned in discussion and what is in the future, we ask to help us, Lord, to focus, and we know changes we need to accept when they do come. We thank you for our presenter, and we ask your blessing upon his life as he continue, Lord God, to enlarge the mind and thought of people in this time. We thank you for all those who have come, Lord, and we pray that there was no regret of being here, but we have learned so much, Lord, and so much to meditate upon. So help us, Lord, as we depart at this time to a different place of abode, that we'll go focusing and meditating upon what we have learned. Thank you for your grace and mercy and all things that have done well. These mercy we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Praise God.
Thank you very much. Greet somebody to go. Thanks to all the visitors and guests who came. We appreciate you, the input.